By giving the full name, you are
J Squad.
We gotta find now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? Oh man, gonna do a little listen to the Mcdizzle and YorchTorch debate while I play a little Ark. Not too much else. I mean, we may go over the Game Awards as well, the nominees anyway. I'm going to be watching it on the 11th I mean, it didn't really surprise me all that much when it came to the awards, right? I was hoping Ark would have picked up a few more. I like Ark. I think it deserved a few. Um, yeah, a few more areas. And I was talking about it with Kira, a friend of the channel, the other day. So we may go into that after. So I went to go actually listen to this debate live. Well, not live like on my show, but like while it was happening. And I forgot that Yorch had me blocked, so I couldn't listen to it. So I sat in there like waiting for it to start. And it never started because I couldn't hear anything that was going on. I mean, I was playing Ark while it was going on, so I wasn't fully paying attention to everything that was happening. So so yeah, there was that. What's going on, Deadly? How you doing today? I only half paid attention to this one because I was doing stuff around the house, so I will mostly be new to you. Good. So at least I won't be the only one that's going through it. I'm actually pulling it up right now. I'm not going to pull it up on screen. I don't think there's a point in pulling it up on screen because it's just showing the Twitter thing, but we'll be able to hear it. Let me get boom. Where is the? There we go. And boom, there we are. Yeah, here, let me find it in my thing. I actually got into it a little bit with Yorch today. He was I don't even remember what we got into. He said something, or someone had, someone that I had talked to a few times mentioned, made a comment that someone had made in the comments of his live stream. And, I kind of agreed with it, that I think Yorch is probably closer to like, he cares more about the clicks than he actually cares about any of the stuff that he talks about. And of course he chimed in and we went back and forth, and then I found out some information, thanks to my buddy here, Damage, where he has a manage your social media thing. Pay him like $300 and he'll make sure that your social media grows, and all this other like get rich kind of quick scheme kind of stuff is what it feels like. So that was interesting. Even that he felt like he was more attached to gaming when it was monetized, it's like really weird. It's like you didn't enjoy gaming before the monetization. The article actually says he felt it was really bland. But I'm looking to see what they're going to talk about here. The importance of independent media. I know it takes like it's like 8 minutes.
Thank you, Mcdizzle Gaming. Which
Here we go.
over the past year.
A couple.
Yep. So a pleasure to have you here.
Tell me how the sound is over the game. I want to make sure I've got like the sound sizes right. I turned down Ark quite a bit, which will be bad for me in the long run, but hey.
Let's get started. I don't think you really need an introduction. I'll let you introduce yourself. And you got, after the introduction, 2-3 minutes. Let's get going. The topic, let's see, just the rules before handing the floor to you. The rules are going to be really similar to my debate with Kiameth. It is going to be 2-3 minutes to allow each other to express.
I'm still with the idea of like with these bait road mechanic ideas, just like we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. Yes, there might be some interruptions. Be cordial with them. Don't interrupt somebody every time it goes to. But if you have something you need to say about a particular thing that was said, dig into it. You don't need to have this format, right?
Our thoughts. We'll keep interruptions at a minimum. Let's give value. It's going to be around 1 hour or so. So let's get going. There you go, Mcdizzle. It was yours.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, and we'll have quite the chat. It should be a good time. Hey there, I'm Mcdizzle Gaming. I have a YouTube channel.
Mcdizzle.
I put occasional shit out. I've got some KCD shorts flying right now. I've got the shorts machine going. That's about all, though. It's a pleasure to chat. You can follow me here. You can follow me on YouTube. You don't have to do shit.
Yeah, welcome, Extra.
You want to do, you're in control. That's all I got, man.
All right, awesome stuff. So I am YorchTorch Games. I'm well, I mean, it's been amazing with everything that has happened with my account over the past year. I'm a content creator, gamer, game dev, love gaming, love to discuss and talk about games, game development. I know that you're a game developer as well.
I've seen his game, and I want to know more about it. It's not sold on like any other platforms. It's just like a simple little game. Like, I'd like to know how it was made.
You've been going into RPG Maker. So let's get started.
Oh,
The
RPG
reason why
Maker,
we're
you
talking
said it.
here is because you have a vision about
I'm not gonna like dog on him for his game. He's willing to go into RPG Maker and make something small. You know, I'm cool with that.
social media, about the way
That's
that
too
content
thick.
creators, well, let's say gaming content creators, especially the ones who either label or not label themselves as anti-woke, but do criticize the state of modern gaming.
Oh, Mcdizzle's
Do you
game
have
is
strong opinions
RPG
about it?
Maker. Oh, I didn't realize Mcdizzle was making a game. How did I miss that? Okay. So then what was his made in?
Also have strong opinions about gaming. It comes to me like you have kind of a center to left vision. If I'm mistaken, please go ahead,
course.
review it. And so let's get going. What are your thoughts on the importance of independent media? Share your thoughts, your vision.
Of course, my vision is for a marketplace of ideas all over the place. I think independent media is incredibly important.
Okay.
More important
that's
than
better than
what
I
we
could do.
consider mainstream media or legacy media. And I think it's incredibly important how media is kept accountable no matter what type of media it is. A big problem with media, independent or not, it relies on the credibility and integrity of the creator. So just like mainstream media, independent media, BS stories for clicks, missing context, telling stories. Some spaces in the independent media will do the same thing, and that's inclusive of legacy and new media. It's all dependent on that credibility and integrity and intent. And I try to measure that credibility through honesty and accuracy. Whoever makes the content, if it appears to be pushing an agenda as priority number one and trying to be informative as priority number two, it's tough to take it as credible when you see those type of trends over time where it's more about pushing a narrative. In my opinion, for news, informative should always be priority one, and how people get to the conclusion they get to is up to them versus, force feeding kind of a narrative.
I mean, he's talking about like the Walter Cronkite era where he would just say, this is what's happening on this side. This is what's happening on this side. I am Walter Cronkite. But I mean, it's a nice fever, a nice dream to have. We've been so far gone from that for so many years. But yeah, I agree with these saying that's like the optimal of what we would want.
With selective information, with missing context.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting a narrative out there that doesn't hold up to facts,
and
or in
SDL,
some cases YouTubers shilling to their audience because that's what they may want to hear, it's so tough to take it seriously. Like, people love to get the bag by dividing people up when at the end of the day, most people that are passionate about games and gaming are pretty damn similar, except in some parts that are pretty important to their personality that makes them different.
Yeah.
I just got one last piece here. Like, in fact, you could argue that it's activism on both sides, depending how you define sides. You have to look at each person differently, right? You don't want to just paint everyone with a broad stroke. Everyone's different. You're different than, those other people on the Team Andy Pants collage. I don't know what to call it. Activism is activism.
I don't
Even
trust
if it's
that guy.
If it's a brand you like, some of those behaviors in gaming activism, like boycotts, lots of lists like DEI detected, organized campaigns like Free Stellar Blade. You can argue the merits for any of those, absolutely, but it's just the flip side of activism. And for those that don't give a shit about activism, like myself, but we care a lot about truth and accuracy, it gets tiring pretty quick. So, in closing, yeah, independent media is really important. And accountability for the accuracy of it. And as we've seen time and time again, especially recently, that accuracy and kind of those narrative pieces tend to get called out when they're not on point.
Awesome. Something that worked really well during my
That was okay. I would say after
his intervention,
Mcdizzle's are already off to a pretty good start. I think with that one, very well spoken, very well given his idea of what it should be. We're getting out of here though. So yeah, good start. I want to see what Yorch says after.
For my intervention, we used to question the other one, the other person. Do you have any questions for me related to what you said?
Yeah, I'll ask a question regarding this. So I talked a little bit about the accountability for both, for any sort of media outlet. Do you yourself see?
Speaking of DEI detected, Cabrutus tried crashing out about Expedition 33 being nominated of Game of the Year, wanting any of the other nominees to beat it despite despite the nominees from Kingdom Come Deliverance. Oh. Yeah, I saw that. I made some comments on it. He's being a little baby about the entire situation. It's kind of silly. Like, I don't know what he was expecting. We all thought that game was good. The entire world thought that game was good. I think Ark could have been a contender, but I understand some of the things behind it. Yeah, he is always being a baby. All right, let's see here. We only got a few minutes left. Where I need to be is like over on that side. Okay, we're just gonna wander around. Where's the exit point? Yeah, it was such a silly little argument. It was kind of funny to watch him cry about it because he was absolutely like, that was a pretty big crash out.
A lot of the media out there, and we'll say the anti-woke media, pushing a narrative first and informative second, or do you not, I guess, is a question.
Yeah, all right. So let's put something. I think that it is really important to frame this because,
Of course.
media by itself is it's complex. It's extremely complex. Something that I was thinking about based on the topic that, and I'm definitely answer your question. Let me just elaborate a little bit. This just to give a little bit of context.
No, it's all good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So something that
What's going on, Redstain?
Before starting this.
I'm available to chat if you want me to, but I don't know how much I will have to say. I don't know much about Yorch at all. Yeah, if you want to come in, Damage, come on. I know very little about him, but what I've like looked up and seen over, his course, and he's very much a flip-flopper, I feel, just like Smash is. Here, I'll jump into, and I'll put it on here so you can actually hear it. Jump in whenever. He feels like the same thing like Smash is. He'll flip. He's in the beginning stages of Smash. He'll flip once it does something that... What's that? Okay, I hear it. Like once it starts going bad on him, like the big example was the JDA stuff where he just abandoned or he went with JDA at first because I guess there may have been some agreement with it, and then he like flipped once he realized he was losing face and that JDA was on the losing side. You have personally more respect for Yorch than Smash. I can see that. I think there's a lot of similarities in it. Oh, this is where it just came from. I did a circle. All right, let's head towards an exit point then. This one's... We can make that. So... I'll join, so you can transfer. I'll be listening, but I won't be able to be by my PC for a bit. Okay, that works. Boop. All right.
This space was. Back during the 90s, I'm a child of the late 80s, 90s. We used to go to stores, and this obviously happened back during the early aughts. You could go into a store, you would see all these gaming magazines, and all these gaming magazines, generally speaking, and I'm going to be painting this with a very broad stroke, they were mainly catalogs because there was no social media, there were no cell phones, We weren't all day clicking on and touching our screens and all of that. And they mainly serve the purpose of informing about which games are worth playing, which games are coming up, which games are being in development. But it was all about games. There was no, I don't really recall, if you ask me, for the politics of a certain writer from PC Gamer, GamePro, Electronic Gaming Monthly, I cannot pinpoint. I mean, probably they were center left, they were center right, but
You'd never know,
I don't
though,
really recall. Yeah, you didn't know exactly. There you go. But nowadays, what happens and what makes it really complex is you have a content creator, somebody who's talking about games. You also have the game development or the game developer. You also have the company. All of them are posting comments. All of them are posting their takes, and they are takes of any shape and form. It could be about the game. It could be about the game development process, but it could also be about today's politics and which side they root for, and that inevitably gets into this kind of a snowball, which is really difficult to remove the knots and unentangle it. I mean, it's quite difficult. So when you ask me, do I think that on the anti-woke side, if there's a push for a certain type of agenda, I'm not going to fall into the trap of saying, oh, but you guys also do it.
Yeah.
No, let's get really dive into it, which means
I mean, that's a commendable point you can go with.
The scene does serve a purpose in the sense of saying, hey, there are these studios who have massive amounts of money that are being backed with huge amounts of credit and cash flows from gigabanks in order for them to promote their games.
I want to see these though, because they talk about BlackRock a lot, but I haven't seen like anything. Oh God. Okay. That guy's gonna see me. I haven't seen anything like massive things that they can just show, because wouldn't they be showing that over and over and over again when it comes up here? It's just the games that have people that they don't like politically tend to be the games that they point at for this. And a lot of times there's no connection other than the major game industry companies that they work for. And those guys just want to make money. They don't want to push a narrative. If that narrative, if it makes money, they'll do it. Well, I'm not a fan of Yorch. I do respect him for having this conversation. As an old hat myself, I miss the days where the hobby united us and didn't divide us. I agree. I mean, the internet has made a lot of people divide in a lot of different areas more than I think we ever have. The divide's always been there in some sense. But yeah, I could agree it's getting worse. And I do give it to him. He's having multiple conversations with people versus, others who probably won't be having any anytime soon.
And along those, and in that process, they also hired these game development companies, these big companies, these game studios. They also hire consultancy companies to help with quote unquote narrative design, representation, and sometimes when they do that, they start having an influence on.
So the problem is these consultancy things have been happening for years. This isn't like a new crazy thing that just started happening. Companies have used this kind of consultancy company for probably decades now because they can't always pay to get all the information and everything they do. Someone who works for a Fortune 500, BlackRock, Straight Street, Vanguard, does investments with companies, does require you to invest in DEI initiatives. True, it can, but do those DEI initiatives mean you have to put a black person in a game? Like, what is the extent of those? I've never seen anyone point it out. And that's actually changed. BlackRock has changed that because of the very nature of the governments around them. So they were in on it when they thought it was popular and it was going with everything else. They're now not in on it. I need to get out of here because the government has changed and those ideas have gone away. Does it depends on who the company hires for their DEI officer? I guess that's true. That's true. You know, there are games you can point to that have it, but this idea that every single one, like even when you come to like, let's go with the most horrendous, they say, Sweet Baby Inc., right? What can you point towards? What matters to me on the entire situation is what can you point towards that was the change. You look at something like Veilguard, it's to me very obvious what changed. But if you look at something else like the one they're going after now Winter Burrow, what in there was like the problem? Oh God. All right. Shut up. There we go. See if there's a leaper hiding among here. So like it is. And you know, I was an anti-worker to begin with, so the very start of it, I did see a lot of that stuff that goes in there. But as I've looked deeper into it and a lot of the other stuff, it's completely changed around. It changed around years ago because the gaming companies realized that that's not what the gamers want. I still pick all of this up and I still point it towards 2020 and, you know, from 2016 to 2020 where the left really took over the internet. And that's when these companies started putting in these DEI agendas, right? You could even say that governments may have started doing it because of the internet and the way it was back then, trying to please the masses.
How the game is made.
My biggest issue with Spider-Man 2 was the pie in the sky environmentalism. That's fair. Not the flags.
And I think it is perfectly fine to call it out. I think it's really important to see, hey, this is something that is starting to smell like corporate greed, like corporate ideology.
Yeah, come on in.
Hobby, and I think it's perfectly fine to have all these influencers and content creators talking about it. Now, something that is really important, for every action, there's a reaction. I'm a huge believer in Newton's third law. So, for example...
Oh, you work with nuclear power in real life? That's fair enough.
To get extremely defensive about a game's release. It starts blocking players. It starts attacking them. I think that is perfectly fine.
I've never played Spider-Man 2, so I vaguely know about it. What was their pie in the sky idea of environmentalism? So... Because I've always been like, from what I've tried to read, I've kind of been on the nuclear bandwagon. Like that may be the way to go. But if I'm wrong, if I'm talking to a nuclear guy who tells me I'm completely off base, and that's what they were going for, well. Is this enough power? Add an extra 0.
In the sense of, hey, this game studio is not respecting gamers. That's the way that I would put it. What do you think about that?
What was her thing? Windmills and hopes and dreams. Stamina regeneration. I want to get this. Boom. There we go.
You know, I think the point about consultants, I think there was some valid conversation around the offerings that they were bringing. Was it value adds? Was it not value adds? That said, you know, they're consultants. And I think in the big year 2025, money's talking. I mean, we've seen the failures like Concord, you know, the impact that had and the chill that probably gave to a lot of game developers being like, yeah, this isn't going to be, you know, an easy amount of money. When we look at things like SBI, I do think that one employee that, you know, went after Cabrutus shouldn't have done that. I think that made the situation a whole lot worse. It Streisand it. You know, brought out a lot of conspiracy theories regarding SBI.
Yeah, and green sustainables, a lot of tech that IRL does still require a huge tax on the grid to charge. Yeah, I've read so much. Like I started to look into it, and it didn't seem like a lot of that stuff was sustainable. Like I said, I've always been on the nuclear power grind that we should have stuck with it, especially when you start reading about nuclear power in general and get away from the fear of what's happened in the past with some of it. So good to know I'm at least on the right track. Nuclear and hydrogen cells should be the future. Yeah, I could agree with that. I can agree wholeheartedly. We'll see. We'll see if it happens.
I don't think they're that great by any means. I don't really, play a lot of the games that they make. Although that little mouse one looks pretty fucking cute. I don't even care. I don't know what their involvement was with it. But I do think on the flip side, it went a little wild. Like, I do remember an example where Cabrunas tried to get a copy of, like, Flintlock pre-release.
Does it require slave labor and batteries don't burn hot enough to cremate a body? There you go.
Otherwise, he was going to put it on the DEI detected list or something along those lines, if I remember correctly. So I don't think, my thoughts on consultants, if you don't need to hire them, don't hire them. Because I do think it can dilute the vision in some cases that you might have. Maybe you'll take some bad advice. Maybe they will offer improvement depending on, the credibility and the effectiveness of the consultant. There's consultants, contractors, there can often be a thin line between those things as well. But it's ultimately the game development companies, they're the ones that are going to own the results. So they can't be messed around. And if they do, well, people will lose their jobs. We've seen that time and time again, especially over the last few years. We're seeing it right now with Mind's Eye. And if, you look at Mind's Eye for an example of a game that failed, that definitely didn't fail to DEI. If you go over their Glassdoor reviews of what a fucking terrible place that was, Leslie Benzies used the word meritocracy a lot, except he didn't know how to fucking do anything. I think we're good to swear. So, this guy from Rockstar had a big reputation. His meritocracy turned more into nepotism and more along, promoting, incompetent managers, incompetent people based on a feeling or a friendship. And that's amongst the things that destroyed that. So I think there's a lot of problems.
X Defiant didn't fall for being a woke Ubisoft game either. Yeah, exactly. There's tons of failures every year in the industry, and I'll still say I still believe to this point that it's a bloated industry, and that's what's causing a lot of the problems. They bloated back in 2020 when all they were doing was growing. Now they're making the same slop they were making before, sometimes even worse than what it is. It comes, too many hens trying to work in one place. I don't even know what analogy I just fucked up there, but too many Indians or too many chiefs, not enough Indians. When the person who's making one portion of the game doesn't even know what the rest of the game is going to be like, you lose vision. That's just corporatism in general. So
problems with gaming. Do I think SBI contributes to many of them? I don't think so. Especially now, I don't think they're working on a significant amount. I can't imagine their business went up a whole lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's
also in a bad economy. Not everyone can afford to drop $70 on a whim every other week. Yeah, I agree. People are spending less money. Oh God, where are they? Oh, hey bud. Bye. What do we got? Oh, Hornet. Fuck off. I used to be scared shitless of these little things. Oh, he got me. Crashed into a fucking tree. Dumb bitch. But yeah, I mean, there's so many factors that are coming into it now, and I think woke is the... woke... Huh? Uh-oh. What's up? Hey.
Stray is way over here. What's that?
Yeah.
Alright, they didn't notice us. We're good. Sorry. I'll be
Yeah,
on my way.
not a problem. Where's the quest for this? Is this it? Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. There's so many other factors that are coming into it. Woke plays such a minuscule part in that.
Streisand affected them in the gaming space, but I don't think so. I can't imagine. But that's what I have to say about consultants specifically. Also, I think it's worthwhile to have the conversation around BlackRock and ESG money and the impact of ESG on the end product of a game. So I've had to deal a little tiny bit around this shit. Not much. Not with BlackRock specifically, but ESG is a measurement of shit for lots of companies.
Yeah, I remember that.
Social and governance. It's a lot about defining processes, and there is some DEI. There is like DEI elements within that, and that's mainly around hiring. And I would say in the good year of 2025, these DEI policies, especially in America, are pretty much out the window. I mean, we've all seen company after company roll back DEI policies and change them or enrich them with something else. Just be kind. Get the right people for the jobs. That's what that's what it should always be about. Anyone should be able to apply, prove themselves, prove their merits, prove their worths. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that one.
Well said.
Yeah, Mcdizzle, I'm impressed by the two topics and the way that you covered. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. One, I wasn't expecting that you came really frank about the terrible mistake that SBI did and this particular employee who went after Cabrutus. I've been saying this. My account wouldn't have taken that twist because I really started my account here. Mostly, I started focusing on software development.
Yeah.
And then that happened. I've always been interested. I've always been a player. I've always played games. My first console was the Atari Junior, which is it was a kind of a relaunch of the 2600 with 7800 aesthetics. That was my first console, and I just said to myself when I was building my account here on X, I said, what if I devote 1 year, just 1 year of my life to my favorite hobby, to my passion? And I even talked to my wife. I told her that, and she said, well, go ahead, do it. Around that time, the whole Cabrutus scandal reached media, and it was insane. It was all over the place. And I think that it was extremely unfortunate. I mean, it was terrible, for lack of a better term, to go after a fellow player, a fellow gamer, to go after his Steam library just because he doesn't agree with what you're saying or your ideology or any way that you would put it. Because that's, I think that any community, and in this particular case, the gaming community, suffers a lot when you start going after a particular individual just because they are not agreeing with what you're saying. I think.
Ooh, say that again, Yorch. Just let me find somewhere safe, and I want you to say that again, because that's a very good point. That is a great point. Let's go over here then.
Scandal reached media, and it was insane. It was all over the place. And I think that it was extremely unfortunate. I mean, it was terrible, for lack of a better term, to go after a fellow player, a fellow gamer, to go after his Steam library just because he doesn't agree with what you're saying or your ideology or any way that you would put it. Because that's, I think that any community, and in this particular case, the gaming community, suffers a lot when you start going after a particular individual just because they are not agreeing with what you're saying. I think
going after a particular individual just because they are not agreeing with what you are saying. Yeah, I agree. But that's kind of where we've gotten to with the anti-woke community. They go after anyone who doesn't agree with them now. Just like it used to happen with the left when they were in power. Ooh, bad boy, they're everywhere.
That's the
today.
point of Cabrutus's whole website, too.
Yeah, it's going after people, right? So you say that, you know, you're talking from the realm that Cabrutus and Welcome Damaged is, you know, being gone after, but Cabrutus does the exact same thing. Get out of here. Get that. Boom, bitch. Hold on, focus. There we go. All right. I'll have to come back to that quest later. So, a very small creator, Smash JT, went after my buddy Legion Games. Legion Games. What did he try and say about Legion Games? I don't know who he is, but.
Good dog. Hey yo,
What's up?
I got a question.
I have an answer.
Do you know where I can complete this task at?
Is it the one by the big robot?
I gotta nail down the roof plates.
Oh, it should be up. I believe it's up here. I think it's like this spot right here.
Oh, it's right here. Oh my god. Alright.
Hey, I had the same problem with it. I had to have my brother-in-law show me.
Oh my god. Alright. You wanna get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Alright, let's go.
But yeah, it comes down to Ryan Legion Games called out JT on acting like a grifter. And so JT did what JT does and goes after him. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to hear Yorch say that, and we'll see if he agrees with any of the other people that go in it. Because I don't know that I would say that I've ever seen Yorch do that, but let's keep listening.
That's, I mean, if you go and take it into macro,
I'm right behind you. Hold on.
historical, geopolitical things, it's like beating your opponent. You're not in a democracy. I go ahead and shut you. I think.
You see that Rocketeer over there to the right?
Yeah, I got him. Did it pause? Or did it freeze up? Got one right there in front of us too. Hold on, let me do this exit and then we'll figure out why it's not. Oh. You ready? I'll hit the button. That Rocketeer might come over though. I've got lures. Let me figure out what's going on with this. Oh, it did. It froze up. All right, we're at about 25:30. What is going on?
I'm trying to find the video that Extra Zero is talking about.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching that. What's up, bud? We got two of us about to get out of here.
I thought it was broken or something.
Nah. Let's go. Everyone in. Everyone in. It's on JT's main channel. We all good?
Yeah, there's that blueprint right there.
Oh.
Not me.
Oh man, I'll take a Bonetta blueprint. Oh no! Low res screenshot. It's a normal dude. He found it? Okay. I gotta close. Something happened here on X. Exit page. Oh my. Here we go. Let's start this up again. Boom, 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 boom. No, I don't want YouTube. I want X. These X chat rooms are cancer. Play recording. Bit about.
One, I wasn't expecting that. That's, I mean, if you go and
there
take
we
it
go.
into macro,
Let me put it so you can hear it.
geopolitical things, it's like beating your opponent. You're not in a
Stream's
democracy.
not
Then
up.
go ahead and shut it.
Yeah, I'm putting it up now. Hold on.
I think that's extremely hurting to the gaming community, and that is one of the main reasons why I wanted to, why I've been trying to have these conversations, listening to the other side. Even if some people on my side would go and say, "Hey, come on, why are you talking to those guys?" Because I think it's important to be beyond what a post or a tweet, whatever you want to call it. You're seeing words over there, and when you read something, it's extremely different. The whole thinking process is extremely different as to when you listen to the actual person talking about something.
Well, and I think
So,
oh, you go ahead, man.
yeah,
Sorry.
go on. No, well, I'm about to wrap it because I was fascinated by what you said and about the SGI thing.
Of course.
I'm just wrapping this up just real quick. I absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting I mean, it doesn't surprise me that people like Yorch are surprised that we would agree with the thing that happening to Cabrutus was bad. Most people think, most people would usually throw us into the category if we're just absolutely soy-loving lefties who give everyone that's on our side the credit, that's due, and everyone on the right is wrong. And like that's not the case with the vast majority of people that are calling them out on their bullshit. So
Absolutely. I think that companies are hiding their mistakes behind this cloud or this cape or cloth, whatever you want to call it, of ESG, DEI. They're making really corrupt things, shavings, incompetency all around, and they're just trying to save face behind the whole ESG, DEI thing. So please go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So, a couple things with, again, with the ESG pieces, I think we're seeing a transition, especially over the last year, because we have the things like Concord. There's going to be less risk taking like that, risk taking with hundreds of millions of dollars, because nothing good is going to come from that. Outside of that, we talked about independent media and how important it is. You responded with the pieces around, it's an important function. And absolutely, people should speak out. They have something important to say, speak out. But it's moved a bit from a mainstream piece in, at its peak, starting with the Brutus piece and going through 2024 and almost peaking with Assassin's Creed Shadows release. And that's really when, it just kind of didn't really continue to pick up steam. And one thing that you mentioned that I found interesting is I agree that having conversations is, important because it's just a wall of text. And I think, authenticity in people is very important as well. Being authentic in a verbal conversation, not saying anything you wouldn't say, on Twitter, in that conversation with someone. So I think that's one of the reasons that, so few people are having these type of conversations is because I do think there's a significant lack of authenticity and a significant inability to stand on business, as we saw recently with the Colin Moriarty stuff. And the majority, I don't want to argue specifically.
The Colin Moriarty.
We certainly could, but happy to talk about ghosts. I want to try it at some point, but I can certainly speak a little bit to the numbers. And that's where I see a lot of that narrative bit where it's so much of a fight to try to say that I'm right, you're wrong, versus, this is the actual information. Here's what's up. Let's come to our own conclusions. Versus, let me do these gymnastics, and play Twister with myself to try to make something make sense. And that's not speaking. I have no problem with if someone has an anti-woke view of the world, conservative ideologies, liberal ideologies, whatever, man. It's a big world. I think it's when you get to the extremes on either side, that lead to violence and shit like that, that it's real bad. It's real bad. So yeah, that's what I have to say. About the topics so far that we've discussed. unless you have any further questions. I do have some questions for you, but nothing really pressing.
Press
Awesome.
them.
Let me
Press them,
just,
Dizzle.
yeah, let's go over to your questions. But before doing that, you started to go into the Ghost of Yote controversy. And I think, if you remember, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you actually reposted it. I think you did.
Maybe.
Where I went into full face reveal and I
Oh yes,
basically
Dark Yorch.
congratulated Ghost of Yote for the trip. Yeah. So I was starting to think this is going to get really interesting. For many of our listeners here, our fellow gamers here, I do have a Substack, and I wrote an article about Ghost of Yote. This brutal battleground that it generated, and in my article, I went ahead and I wrote that there's no doubt that there's a decent game in Ghost of Yote. You cannot deny it. When I'm saying this, is because you take a look at all these reviews.
All right, this should be interesting.
User reviews, and they're telling you, "Hey, let's just put the optics and the ideologies aside.
Yep.
Let's just judge the game by itself. Is it providing entertainment? Check. It is providing entertainment. Is the world interesting to explore? Yes, the world is interesting to explore. Is it not an interesting story? Apparently, it is. Even if I may not agree with the direction of the story, apparently there's a good story, which is interesting. Does it have solid gameplay mechanics? It does. So, wait a minute. So, are we bashing?
I had to shoot down all of the misconceptions about it yesterday on Groinkin to where we turned it into a spoiler stream. Yeah, and that's the thing with it is like a lot of the stuff that they do, I've noticed, especially around Smash, is he's going to post up the stuff that we're smashing in Endymion probably even more so, is they're going to post up the stuff that is like spoilery that most people may not have gotten to yet or things like that, and then just say something about it, specifically like the lesbian thing at the end. And who's gonna go against them without spoiling the game, right? That's their, I think, logic behind it.
In a game by ideology alone, or is it something that?
Yeah, I know. There's no
provides
lesbians. I'm just saying that's
entertainment to
their
people?
case.
And if you don't agree with it, and if you don't agree with the voice actors, politics, whatever the case may be, just by itself, is the game good or not? And I'm not going to be giving like a solid yes or whatever. I'm just throwing this out. So that's what I was thinking, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to go ahead and congratulate the 3.3 million copies, regardless of whether it is going to be a flop in the major picture, and perhaps there are going to be layoffs of Soccer Punch, or Soccer Punch is actually going to get a higher budget for their next game based on Yote's success. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think when you're going into this snowball of attacking other gamers because you don't agree and so forth, you may end up losing the conversation for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that is the reason why I think breaks are important to say, hey, where are we right now? Are we not making fools of ourselves just because we're so desperate to bash this game?
This is so like, one thing he's trying to be so vague about it. Like Mcdizzle's bringing up situations that happened around specifically this, right? And the misinformation. He may not be saying anyone's name directly, but he's at least focusing in on things that were happening around that. And I feel like he's trying to vaguely, like, why are we attacking each other? Why are we doing this? It's like, well, we need to get to the point.
So desperate to make this claim.
Despite him being objective in this conversation, he's still calling Yote slop on Twitter. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is he'll say one thing and then do another.
Flop. That's what it made me think.
I can understand that.
And go on, please. If you want to, I could go dive deeper into this, but please go on.
No, and you know, I would agree with that because
Oh, here we go.
that's why it brought so much attention because it sounded ridiculous.
Mhm.
And you know, you can have those concerns about, you know, the voice actress that they cast. You know, you don't want to buy the game. Absolutely, that's you know, totally someone's prerogative. Um, but it did what it was expected to do, which was be in line, you know, with you know, Tashima's sales. I mean, with the attachment rate, did it sell less raw numbers? Sure. I think that was somewhat expected because there's less PS5s in the world.
Only 20 minutes to
And
do what I
you
want to
know,
do.
these guys are so greedy; they're gonna sell that thing on like 8 different ways in the next 5 years. So they're gonna keep milking that in the same way Rockstar milks the living shit out of their games like GTA 5 and you know Red Dead Redemption, which you can play on everything now, which is funny. You can play Red Dead Redemption on your phone on December 2nd,
Oh, that's funny.
2nd or 4th, one of those
Did
days.
not know that.
Thank you for bringing this. It is something that
hurts.
after my conversation with Cayman, who's here by the way, thank you for joining. It's the corporations already know that they have a hit. Could be a moderate hit,
What is that?
could be a massive hit. And what they do is they start dropping down until they eventually dilute the franchise. And I think you can see the signs of that right now, for example, with Black Ops 7. It's just terrible. It's horrible.
Oh,
what
come
they're
on.
doing And what they did with, I think is it Treyarch?
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, with what they did with Black Ops 7. And you can see that they're trying so desperately to become the next Fortnite. Or there's something really wrong going on over there.
Come on.
And going back to the anti-woke, just to keep this interesting and from the conservative perspective, I think it's good to call those trends out. I don't know if you guys on your side are also criticizing that. Sometimes what it seems like, and I hope what I'm about to say sounds reasonable, and I'm trying my best to
Of course, Dan.
really
Oh, good.
nail down. Yeah, thank you. Which is sometimes we are so busy trying to dunk each other on X that all these corporations are getting away with all that greed and they are diluting the franchises in our faces. What do you think about that?
You know, I think that's a reasonable take. I
Alright,
think,
there we
you know,
go.
if you think of someone like a doctor and they're trying to diagnose the problem with games, you know, a doctor will do various tests for symptoms. And if you move right to the diagnosis, like let's say you have a sore throat and they chop your dick off, you know, that wouldn't be the right solution to fixing the sore throat. You'd just be dickless. And the problem wouldn't be solved with the sore throat. That's a weird ass example. I don't know. But my point is, I think if you use the example of Black.
It's called the Madden effect. Once companies decided they didn't want to compete with COD, we saw the FPS market dry up. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty common thing to see in slop gaming. It's been around for forever. So ironic, it's EA that comes back to compete here. Yeah. Where is this guy? Okay. Ooh. See if I can get in here and reload. I got people on me. So, but yeah, I agree with you. This isn't like a new thing. This is something that's been happening in the gaming industry since the very beginning.
Black Ops. There's been examples where, you know, people will just try to diagnose the problem with the game, and I think there's a frustration amongst like a wide scope of gamers with that, and that's where, you know, posts that might be considered, you know, rage bait in some cases, or could be argued to be that, you know, regarding a game or regarding a problem with a game. That's how that tends to seem to happen.
Okay, let's do this.
So, you know, I think if we think of Black Ops 6, for example,
We about to get risky.
I think one thing that glaringly comes to mind is they're spitting these games out every year and they're garbage. How do you make a really good game once a year, really innovative, really interesting? Sports franchises overdo it, and they make piles of money, but more often than not, it's really shitty. Like in, you know, as a full price product yearly. To get new rosters.
Yeah, I'm friendly. You want to come partake in the
sports games
kill?
make a killing that way. You know, Call of Duty makes a killing, but
I'm friendly. I'm friendly.
you know,
I'm
that
friendly.
can
I'm
only
friendly.
go on so long.
Yeah.
Like there's an expiration date for being able to put out shitty games
Yeah.
in a
I prefer that.
franchise where you know that money's not going.
I'll call it.
I need gears. I need gears. I need gears in the back. I just need gears.
Have you looted the bus?
Where's the body at? Did the body land on top of the roof? It fucking did, that son of a bitch. Cat, come here. Oh, damn son of a bitch landed on the roof. Oh well. The flying arc, I need to.
There might be one in this one. Let me see this in the car.
Are you playing solos or duos?
Solos.
There's metal brackets.
You hear them talking, they're solos. They just met up somehow. Though it's, I guess it is possible to be a solo and get stuck in there. So, but anyway, let's get, yeah, we'll get back to playing it now that I'm sure that I'm safe from them. I don't know that I'm going to get all the kills I need though in the time frame. When does this one go down? 3 minutes. Let me see if I can at least get through here. Well, let's keep going.
Got to come back. It fiscally wouldn't make sense. So, yeah, they're getting destroyed by like Arc Raiders. This
Hey!
looks fantastic. I really want to give that a try.
Come on,
very tempting
Mcdizzle.
grab this evening. I've been looking at it, kind of thinking. But yeah, that's what I'd have to say about kind of Black Ops 6. And you know, I think there are significant problems.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there was another question in there, Yorch, that you had around there that you wanted me to answer.
No, that's perfect. I'm actually it's perfect. And when you said, I agree with you, and especially with the sports franchises. You mentioned, because I really don't want to derail. I don't want to go sideways nor anything. You mentioned that you had questions for me, and I think you refer to them as in plural. So go ahead. If you had any other question for me, I'm more than willing to answer it.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Well, like,
you know,
why aren't you like rebuttaling what he's saying? Why aren't you coming back at him? It's just like, ask me more questions kind of deal. Like, take what he said and try and make an argument against it, because he's pretty much saying that the anti-woke are just making shit up to make shit up, right? To make it worse. Or they're not giving anything to the industry. So go against that. It's a whole different game when you have this motherfucker.
one question I had, and I know you explained kind of how you changed your mind around this, but I'm
Oh, come
curious
on.
how this ties into something else. So with, you know,
Or at least I thought it
Expedition
did.
33, which, you know, there was a tweet that you said game of the year, although, you know, you mentioned you earlier had concerns, and you addressed those concerns. That was mainly around, you know, black people in the opening. I'll let you elaborate on that. Like, I may be generalizing it, because, again, I don't have, you know, the tweet right in front of me.
Oh man, you
So
have to
where
kill
I'm
a lot.
actually going with this is, you know, your mind can absolutely change from thinking, hey, you know, this is a terrible game, we shouldn't be playing this, or, you know, don't recommend it, to, you know, it should be game of the year, because players and gamers really did enjoy it. Like, it was a big hit. It might win game of the year. What my thoughts are with same with Some Deliverance 2. Do you have the same thoughts toward that? Because I'm surprised, as a lover of video games, that that's not one of your favorite games, George, because it's probably going to end up being one of the most influential games of this generation. I don't see a way around it. I mean, I might be biased. I'm about 300 hours into it, and it's probably the most immersive and interesting game. I know there was concerns around, the homosexuality and the black guy, who I haven't met yet, so I might still have.
Well,
ways
there's
to
multiple
go.
black people in the
But I
beginning was
wanna see,
Yorch's problem.
with those deficiencies that you saw with that game, has your thoughts changed about that from now till then in the same way it has with Expedition 33 at all? That's one question I have. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. Do you want me to get started with Expedition 33? Is that all right?
Yeah.
And then I move on to KCD2?
However you want to
Okay,
answer,
awesome.
man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, the whole Expedition 33, I would put it debacle for myself. Something that I don't think it's communicated enough in social media overall, and definitely not enough, is that content creators do have an arc. We are up to a certain point a character. We become a persona, whether you like it or not. Whether you try to keep yourself as objective as possible, hey, it's social media, and definitely you start knowing how to talk to your audience. That's a fact.
Oh, missed.
But something that happens is many people, especially when they're starting with social media, they want to. It's normal, right? You read a book, you eventually want to write a book. You play a game, you eventually want to create a game. It's human experience. So with social media, let's say that you interact with social media, you interact with your favorite influencers, you eventually want to become one of them, or your own thing, which is it's extremely valuable to be authentic and have your own voice. So what happens, you start gaining followers, your voice starts to resonate more with your audience. And then it's easy for you to say whatever comes to your mind. It's extremely simple. It's really simple. But nobody warns you about this. It's until you're playing this game, I will put it as this, until you're playing the social media game, or until you're actually becoming a creator and you do have an influence. What you say is important.
This guy is narcissistic. When you have an audience and you're influential, you'll be able to like, come on, bud. Yeah, sure. I would say you're usually more audience captured than anything else, but to say that you're just more willing to speak your mind, I guess you get braver depending on what your audience is. Sure. But it's still the stuff that you're saying. I guess he's going to say his takes are okay.
And the way that you say it is extremely important. So I went to with Kate Alive, Khalil Too Short, because, he invited me to elaborate a little bit more on this, because he was really like, hey, man, are you really saying this because you believe it, or what's going on, or is it just a grift, or what's going on there, right? He was interested in that. And right around the time he invited me, I was thinking, hey, I already have this amount of followers. These influencers are already talking about my account.
They're convinced themselves that they're saving gaming through their activism. Getting close to these people allowed me to understand the traps the far left fall into. Yeah, I mean, it shows that it can happen on both sides very easily. It's something that I'm trying to be conscious of, trying to stick to my own opinion and not completely turn that opinion around on its side. It's not about pulling people back to the center when you become the cult of personality. True.
Because of my memes. My memes have been extremely popular.
Yeah, I got time.
And again, this is incredible because this has been just over a year. And now that I have the eyes of the gaming community, I go ahead and instead of asking the audience, hey, what do you think about this scene? I went ahead and I had a really hot take, and it backfired. I'm going to be really honest. It backfired because I know that there was a situation in the game.
Damn it.
I'm not backing down.
Damn it.
I think that the way that it's like they took this model. And they
Uh-oh.
just
Reload.
Copy paste all over it. And I could have just.
Oh,
asked
God.
the community, hey, what do you think
I got
about
myself
this
into trouble.
policy?
Come on.
And take it from there.
But you can
Come
do
on.
it
Oh.
for yourself, though. That's better, though, man. Honestly,
Come on.
you do it yourself. Although the tape may have backfired from an optic standpoint,
Come on.
I think you should definitely take at
Shit.
least a little bit of pride.
I'm
even
gonna
though I
fucking
may not agree
die.
with the
Put the ammo
take,
out.
but you're saying to me that, you believe that tape,
There
it wasn't popular, and if
Well-
I'm understanding correctly. So I don't want you to be too hard.
It cracks me up that I'm still in the side scrollers intro. That's hilarious. It comes to it, like, I was a big Endymion fan. Like, I didn't watch everything he did, but I would watch his videos when they come out on Woke. And all it took on Woke stuff and things like that in gaming. But the moment that I really started digging in and I started realizing how full of shit they were is when I was like, man, this is just... I've gone too far into the other side. You interviewed Endymion? That's hilarious.
Yourself about
Where can we see that
providing
at?
take and saying that it
Yeah,
backfired.
absolutely.
Sounded
I
like
didn't
you
even
were
think of
being your
that. Thank you,
genuine self.
Damaged. I would watch that.
Yeah. Well, when you say your genuine self, this is interesting.
I just lost
Because
a
of the
big weapon.
nuances that may
And I'm
be
not going to
related
get any of the
that.
points I just earned.
But it was the actual way in which it
Legion of
was done.
Memers channel? Okay.
Take the model, copy paste it, put it on the
Help!
screen, right? And again, I could have handled that differently.
Oh, that
because,
sucks so hard.
because this is the
That's a
second
big
part of
loss.
What I'm saying.
Sorry.
The game,
Let me go back a minute. I wasn't. We don't probably need to go back that far.
But
There
you
we
can admit
And
you're
not because
yourself,
yeah,
though.
go
That's
on.
better, though, man. Honestly, you were yourself. Although the tape may have backfired from an optic standpoint, I think you should definitely take at least a little bit of pride, even though I may not agree with the take. What
That's
you're
cool.
saying to me that, you believe that take, it wasn't popular, and if I'm understanding correctly. So I don't want you to be too hard on yourself about providing.
When he told me he was formerly a waiter off air, I started to question his sources. I mean, I would too, right? Where are these sources coming from?
that take and saying that it backfired. It sounded like you were being your genuine self.
I had actually never really thought about their sources and stuff like that. Like, it had really never hit my mind until Mcdizzle showed just how fake Smash's sources really were. Right? Because Smash didn't have just one bad source in that Mcdizzle. He also had another one that Mcdizzle gave to him. If Mcdizzle hadn't have done that, he'd have been continuing to get fed false information the whole time. But
It wasn't just that one other one. That one other one said that there was even more people doing it.
oh, really? God, he's a lolcow. He has a group of people that are feeding him fake information to make him do things. He's a fucking lolcow.
Yeah. Well, when you say your genuine self, this is interesting.
It's just knowing that I don't believe any of their sources are real. Like, who in the gaming industry is talking to these people outside of the people who have been snubbed for some reason out of the gaming industry, right?
Because
I mean,
of the
they kind of
nuances
let that
may be
slip all the
related to
time,
that.
though, to be honest with you.
True. They do. That's why no one believes
Like,
them.
the one example is when Jay Viper said he was doing his own data analysis
Oh, yeah.
on Ghost of Yotei. But then he's like, oh, well, I don't have access to Sony's data. And it's like, okay, so when you say you say you have sources that are giving you Sony's data that you do your own data analysis on, but then you admit that you don't have Sony's data and that no one else does either. And it's like, the fuck were you doing analysis on then, you stupid motherfucker? What the
Yeah. Where did this great analysis come from? Oh,
Just one more funny part about that whole Jay Viper and Ghost of Yotei thing, though,
mhm.
is I don't know if you saw this, but he was tweeting about somebody else, and they're like, he's like, how do they know that Ghost of Yote, like, you know, broke even with its budget, man? Like the budget was huge. But then if you check his tweets about the budget, he did one where he estimated himself, you know, based on his own analysis, how many copies it would have to sell to break even. And it was like a range. Then he made another tweet that said like, oh, I think the sales are going to be this much. And then the sales came out. And he's like, I was right. The sales were this much. And the number of sales was at the high end of the range that he gave for it to break even. So he's literally telling someone else that you've got to be making it up when you say it breaks even, but by his own fucking, you know, bullshit self-analysis, it broke even.
Yeah. I remember that tweet that came out. Yeah, absolutely, Extra Zero. I would love to watch that. We may watch it here in just a few minutes. But I watched that one. The funny thing about that one is the numbers he gave are the exact same range numbers that Tech for Gamers put out, not like the day before. And I was like, dude, why are you putting out the same numbers that Tech for Gamers did? And he goes, I don't know what that place is. I was like, how do you not? You, Indie, Smash, you all use that as sources for different things. You just hide who it is.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. Oh. Star Bear. Is that what he's calling himself now?
I was looking at the screen and I was like, oh my God, he's fucking leaking DMs.
No.
This isn't on.
Yes. I'm not doing it this time. Gigabear has me blocked. What is this? For weeks, at Nick J. Cal of Second Wind Group has been publishing. When is this from? This is from 2024. I remember Gigabear. I sought to demonstrate how desperate this man is to publish anything he can to use to that end, no matter how flimsy or lacking of cooperation or... Yeah, I think I remember this tweet. So I sent him an anonymous email with a story too good to be true, and then posted a tiny fraction of the supposed conversation on my Twitter, knowing that where attacking Grums is concerned, he would immediately run the story before he had even verified it. And he did just that. Rusty Nail does not exist. In fact, Rusty Nail is an for journalist. You're so gay. The project I supposedly backed does not exist. The conversation is a fabrication, and he fell for it. So, but this is just, the guy had tweets. He made fake tweets back and forth. And then emailed them to Second Wind. So, I mean, there was...
How are you viewing this tweet? Because I just tried to pull it up myself and it says the account doesn't exist.
Because it's been deleted, I think. No, it's... Let's see. Oh, no, it's here. Star Bear at AI Singularity. It's not Gigabear.
Okay.
Well, it said
Gigabear X before, but now it's changed to whatever that is. So I don't know what's going on.
Test Mcdizzle.
Sounded good. You sound good, man.
Oh shit!
You sound incredible as well. Nice to have you
you.
here.
All right.
We need it again. We go.
Yeah, that's these guys, man. These guys. Yeah. So before Mcdizzle pulled the same thing on JT. Hold on, let me read the whole thing because I think I missed it. Legion of Memers channel. And he told me formerly as a waiter. Interestingly, Gigabear did the same thing to Nick Caldera, and Smash JT was in the Twitter thread cheering it on. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. And this is even more like Gigabear. All Mcdizzle did was send what the name, right? This is my name, and that's what Smash ran with. Gigabear built fake tweets or fake Discord messages and pretended to be somebody else. So this is at least a little more believable. It's bad on whoever for just running with it, I suppose. But it's not the... It's not the same as just giving a name and the guy doing it. So yeah, before Mcdizzle did it. Interesting. Good old Giga Bear.
Many from our side go to Warhorse.
So many friends
Studios,
bought Black Ops 7.
asking
I
them
feel
first.
vindicated.
If I'm not mistaken, maybe wrong, but I first reached out Warhorse Studios,
Warhorse
asking them,
Studio.
and not Barbara directly himself, the game's director.
Yeah.
And we were asking Warhorse Studios, hey, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And instead of addressing the concerns, they were kind of vague. There was like a live stream, and before the live stream, there was like some sort of a little bit of interaction with fans. I don't really quite remember. It was back in January, late January, if I'm not mistaken. And they didn't address any of that. The live stream comes. They have these two developers playing the game, explaining the game's mechanics. The game looked wonderful. I went ahead, posted about how the game looks great, okay? And then Warhorse Studios, they'll say, keep an eye for any upcoming news, whatever. And people were asking in the chat, hey, is it true that this game has an unskippable homosexual scene and the whole thing? They never addressed that.
What game is
Then
this?
Daniel Baba
They're talking about KDA 2 now, right?
comes. He
Yeah.
keeps. There was a lot of silence around that time.
I mean, yeah, they're a big company. Well, they're big now. KDA, you know. I'm saying KDA isn't what it is. Kingdom Come Deliverance, KD, yeah, whatever. Anyway, ignore me. Like, why would you address that? If it's absolutely out of water, you're just wanting them to say it to you for attention. They know what's in the game. The game will speak for itself, right? There can be actual legitimate things that come out that I think game companies need to speak to, but the culture war stuff is not it.
There were
They
different.
Good.
They think that they're a lot more influential and a lot bigger than they really are.
Yes.
So when they approach companies that make games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, they actually for some reason expect them to answer to them, like answer their questions as if they're getting like an official like press inquiry from like a really large publication, and it's really weird.
Yeah, and they're really nothing more than tabloids that you pick up on the side of the shelf talking about Bat Boy.
And plus the point you made is also true. Like even if IGN or some other big publication went to them and was like, what about this gay scene? And that's like all they said, they probably wouldn't get an answer either. They'd be like, what the fuck kind of question is that?
Yeah, right. Like if any games like journalist at all were sitting in an interview, recording it and all that stuff, and they went on and said, hey, what about this gay scene in the game? It's like it's so jarring. And it's also so unimportant. Like, does it really matter to the substance of the game? In some cases, I think it can.
Right, it's like the difference between, because all they're asking is like, man, why is there this gay scene in this game? We don't want gay stuff, so tell us why you put gay stuff in there.
Yeah.
Versus like maybe like a big publication. So like if a big publication said it that way, of course they wouldn't get an answer either. But if they said something like, oh, it's Gay History Month and we're asking you about this gay scene, are you doing this for political reasons? And there was like a deep like meaning behind the question, and it was like during a specific time, like Pride Month or whatever. I said Gay History Month. I don't know why I said that. It's like a fucking Black History Month or some shit. But anyway.
Oh man.
Pride Month.
Yeah.
Pride Month. Like it would make sense to like ask it during that time, but even then it would be weird. You know, but you'd still have to ask it in a professional way and have some like deep meaning behind it, like, oh, like LGBTQ people are like really interested in why you put this in there,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, versus just randomly at some point in the year just being like, why is there gayness here? It's like, what the fuck kind of question is that?
Yeah, and if you like the thing is these companies know who they are, right? they've gotten the backlash. They've traced it to the source. In Ubisoft's case, they've put out statements when one of their employees was used and started to get attacked. But that means they've seen their channels. They know the kind of stuff that they do, and they don't want to associate with that. So why would they answer questions for somebody who clearly is a rage bait channel? You can go look at Smash JTs right now, or even worse, Endymions, and they're like, they want you dead, and the games industry hates you, and all this other stuff. It's like, why would you answer the questions of somebody like that?
Yeah, it's really strange. I don't understand it at all.
I don't either.
I mean, it was a mess, honestly. There were
Except
so
you're
much
speaking facts. That's right,
talking
Red Stain.
about how the game was actually woke. It wasn't. Then Barbara admits it. In
I'll be back.
Yeah.
That there's this option where you can play like with Henry. You can make this decision, and it was like, yeah, they actually went ahead. They actually went ahead and added that type of content in a game that wasn't supposed to have it.
And there it is. Wasn't supposed to have it. That's completely your view on whether it should be in there or not. And it kind of goes back to what me and Damage were just saying. Like it's you're coming in here and saying, well, this isn't supposed to have that. So even if they had come out and said, yes, we do have a line of in the RPG game where you can go down to the path to have a gay romance, what would be the next question after that? Why would you put that in a game that shouldn't have that shouldn't have the game? It's a never ending loop. You can't satisfy these guys with anything. Like I said, they don't want to improve anything. They want to supplement, replace the hobby altogether. Watch us and our terminally online friends all day. Spend your money on us to save the culture. That's right on point. Extra right on point. It's just a terrible idea. And what you should do is give those likes to me. If you haven't liked the stream, you should go ahead and like the stream. Subscribe if you're new watching and any of that other stuff. If you're watching after stream, give me a like and subscribe. Help me grow to save gaming from the guys who want to save gaming culture. All the good games we do talk about are in passing that have been collectively been deemed safe, right? Yeah, and it's like you don't necessarily see them play those games. Fun fact, the host of the #1 game and entertaining podcast doesn't even play games. Wait, you're talking about what's his face? Oh man, I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about. The podcast you were on. Yeah, I've heard that be said before. Craig, I can never remember his name. I've heard that said before, and I've heard he said that like actually on stream, like there's video proof of him saying that. So it's like, why is he in the industry? And if you watch, I've watched a little bit of his history and his past content, and he is a trends jumper. He jumps on whatever trend he can jump on in that moment to meet up with everything. Like any of that stuff, I could see him very much being a trends chaser.
So again, it was more about the way that the game studio and the game director handled itself and himself.
Hey, if you want to come on, you can come on. Head down into the not the comment section, the description, and my Discord's there. Pop into waiting room, and I'll pull you over. I have no problem with bringing on and talking to people. So
then what happened in the game? I haven't played the game. I'm not supporting the game. That's my take, because I don't like, as simple as that, I don't like the way that Warhorse Studios handled the entire scandal.
Well,
if
you never
they
will.
came across as authentic, I may have bought the game. As simple as that.
You'll never have a corporation come off as authentic, because they're not people. they're a corporation. There are people behind the corporation, but they're not. That's not what they do. They're not going to talk to a little shitter channel. Even by their standards, Smash JT and Demion, those are shitter channels, right? We'll have to do it another time, but I'd be down. Okay, hey, reach out to me in DMs. We can talk about it. We can set it up whenever. I'm all for it. I like learning more and more about these guys because at first I only knew a small few of them, right? I knew who, like, I didn't even know who Smash was. I knew who Endymion was. I knew some of the smaller channels, but Endymion was pretty much like the normie channel that I watched, because why would I watch 30 other channels say the same thing? And then when I started looking into it, because I was originally, one of my original ideas for YouTube was to make Twitter versus, but for the gaming space. And that was including like gaming commentary. I'm glad I didn't do that. I like better what I do now. But, you go all the way back to the days of Screw Attack, and was a G. No kidding. See, I know so little about you, Extra. So little. I gotta find out more about you too. I'm gonna start going and checking out your stuff and see what I can find. Just how anti.
What's a G1?
I forget. Original guy on the stream. Met all of those guys at MagFest. Everyone but Craig.
Oh, was it Generation 1?
Yeah. Oh, Generation 1. Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. All the way back to the early days of Screw Attack. That's nuts. That's nuts. But now you're one of the haters. You're sitting over here in our camp. Oh man, let's keep going.
I understand your perspective. I don't necessarily agree with, it's not like I can disagree with it because it's your decision if you don't want to buy based on your interaction with the studio. I guess regarding the content and the impact
the
of
G1
game,
community.
it's I'm sure Warhorse is like, oh man, what's going on here? Because in their mind, they added this content because they're like, gamers asked for it. Apparently it was requested from a lot of people. Personally, I didn't request that. I only played KCD1 right before 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I always like to think more options are better. And
RPG community has usually been that way.
In my playthrough, I've spent a lot of time at the bathhouses. But
it can't be true. They forced Indy to be gay. They took his controller from his hand and forced him to pick all the gay options, and he had to see that, and now he has to go to therapy.
For me personally, I don't care if it's there. I understand you're concerned about the way they handled it. I do think Vaverick can come across a little wild on social media, to say the least. And sometimes it might not help his cause, and I don't think it has in some cases. But the game's been, if we strip away, almost going back to what you said about Ghost of Yode, strip away kind of all the narrative around it, or all the narrative, I won't call it narrative, opinions, thoughts, and things like that. It checks off as a beautiful game. That, mind-blowing, like taking that place from like Red Dead 2 from me for like total immersion in a lot of cases. But it's interesting. I can understand you not supporting it. That is your call. And I do have, one other question. Do you think it's fair to call I'll call it the anti-woke media machine, just another form of activism? Good or bad?
That's a very good question. I want to hear the answer to that one.
Do you think it's activism?
That's a really good question. This is going to surprise no one, but there are, in any scene, and especially the size of gaming, there's bound to be, you mentioned it, the extremes are the problem. And every single hobby's political faction, whatever, it's part of the human experience. There are people with extreme views Are there people with extreme views on your side?
Mhm.
Absolutely, you cannot deny it.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people with extreme views on my side, which would be considered activism? Absolutely. And but I think that's there's there's a balance, and again, going back, that is the reason why these conversations are so important. Now,
Well,
I'm
okay.
going to
You, by your very nature, are an activist, George, right? The things we just talked about, there being gay things in gaming, and you didn't think they need to be there, is activism because you don't agree with that lifestyle, and you think that this company shouldn't put it in there because you don't agree with it. You are anybody who's giving those kind of views is doing some form of activism. That's just kind of what it is.
You're right, but you got to pay attention to how he's saying it. He's saying extreme people. He doesn't think he himself is extreme, and therefore, since activists are extreme and he's not, therefore he can't be an activist.
Yeah, but that's just him trying to push himself away from everybody who is not like extreme is just a thing that could be anything, right? You talk about like people who think that there shouldn't be gay scenes in games, or people who see people who disagree with those people could see him as extreme. Like I can think that's a pretty extreme view for a video game, but I also think nudity in a lot of the gamings that is coming out is a pretty extreme thing, and I don't particularly like it. I could be seen as extreme for that. Either way, he's still an activist.
Yeah, I agree he's an activist.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's why he's saying that.
Yeah.
to transition into something, if you agree with this, in the interest of time.
Of course.
I'm going to be addressing one comment because I think it's something that may
And then he just kind of slides by that.
be on your mind as well. It's definitely on K-Med's mind. I'll go start with one comment that I saw before the post that I told you that I'll be addressing that about the whole grifting thing from my side of things. And then I'll be asking you questions that are coming from the comments, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Oh,
So
fuck me.
there was this comment, and what I'm going to go into, I think, is extremely important to address because of the whole grifting, not grifting thing.
Mhm.
And they have this. Okay. So earlier today, there was this comment by ENR MC Khan. He said, I don't know though. I think the more people talk to George, the more he's kind of exposing a lot of his actual grudge. It's not anti-woke, it's anti-corporate.
So he's glazing himself with a fucking tweet right now. Like he completely skipped by that whole thing and just said, well, I'm not one of the extreme activists, like you said. And now he's pulling up a fucking tweet of someone glazing him. Well, he's not, the anti-woke, he's anti-corporate. When you talk like an anti-woke and you fart like an anti-woke, you smell like an anti-woke.
Which is actually something 99% of gamers.
This is like Smash when he constantly says he's not an anti-woke and then immediately posts a screenshot or a clip of his video or his next video coming up, and it's woke wokety woke activists in gaming. It's like, I'm sorry, bud, what you're doing is this.
Agree with. He just communicates badly, and he's caught up in the money from anti-woke.
You see how that whole
Did you
thing...
see the video I made about that on Smash?
He probably did, and I forgot, but do you have it?
He responded to it, and I can't remember what he said, but I gotta find it. But it was like some bullshit where he's like, I'm not anti-woke, I'm anti-slop or something like that. And it's like, but you call woke shit slop. So by definition, if anti-woke or if woke stuff is slop and you are anti-slop, you are anti-woke. So
yeah, absolutely. I remember, I guess way back in the day before he really knew who I was, I had reached out for him right before I was doing my Alyssa Mercante piece. We're going over her court cases. I had asked him something in the comment section. I'm if I go into your DMs, I'm gonna be cordial. I'm not gonna immediately call you a slur or something like that, right? Because in most situations, I'm gonna try and be cordial in the beginning. I think I'm a nice guy. And I'd asked a question about it, and then he had posted something on it like, I see people calling my stuff, slop videos, and it's like, my stuff isn't slop. And I was like, okay, bud, your stuff is like definitely slop. I don't necessarily think that word means anything anymore, because anyone who calls a video that they don't like is slop. But by nature, you're posting the same kind of video over and over and over again. And I mean, I even consider what I do slop by as I post it, Then Extra Zero says, I wonder if these people even know gay people IRL, but I found out it was all a grift when I met an orbiter named Dermy Wormy. His content is anti-woke, yet he only has relationships with trans women. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Yet all his content is anti-gay and anti-trans. That's nuts. That's nuts. How do you do that with these relationships? That's just as crazy to me.
And then there was a reply from name unavailable, which, by the way that this person handled him or herself, whatever the case may be, wasn't, I mean, afterwards, I think it was a little bit terrible. But anyway, just out of respect, I'm saying this. That person says, see, to me, the concept of debate is dead. He's, meaning me, tied up in anti-woke money, which tells me he doesn't give an F about woke or not woke.
Oh, this is the comment.
Making money,
This is the comment that got me and him got into it about.
meaning myself, George. And if suddenly he could earn fat stacks of being the wokest person on earth, he would be. This ties perfectly to what you said about authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not, because it's part of everything that we're talking about right now. I'm going to be really frank, and that is one of the main reasons why we're conservative. I consider myself, I consider myself a conservative. It's perfectly fine, and I'm going to stress this, really hard. It's perfectly fine to monetize your activity on social.
Yeah, but that's not what they're saying, right? I probably clip chimped him. I want to read what Extra just said here. He's like, I have no clue. One of my best friends, IRL, is gay. He was the man of honor at my wedding, and I'll make jokes, but I don't tolerate actual hate. Yeah, there's a difference between joking around with buddies and things like that, and then what you fall into actual hate thing. I've known many gay people in life. One of my closest friends from back in high school, I haven't seen him in forever, was gay, but he was very timid in the closet for a long time. And when he came out, it was kind of like a, yeah, we knew situation. So it's always weird to me, the hate that suddenly, I feel like it's been reinvigorated in recent years happening. But yeah, I agree with you. Let's see if I, pause Andy Yorch.
It's a business after all. Why is that? Because if you don't make a single dime with this, you are not going to be here for long. And that is the reason why many people fail at being social media creators, because they do not know how to monetize their hobby, how to monetize their presence, and how to make offers that people see value. There is this trend, and I'm going to say this because I major in industrial design. And I know that what I'm saying is extremely controversial, and that's perfectly fine.
It's not controversial. Like, from what he's already said before he goes on. Yes, people understand that you have to make money on YouTube if you want to keep saying the things you want to say, but that's not what that guy is saying. What he's saying is that you don't believe in what you're saying. You're only making the type of content you're making because you're able to make money off of it. That if it was changed and the woke were in power, that you would be doing the very opposite thing. There's a difference between monetizing something like playing games you love and believe in and just saying what you want people to hear to get clicks and views. One is honest and genuine. One is a grift.
I was in industrial design. Industrial design by itself, when I was studying industrial design, there was a lot of people from an artsy background. And there were some other folks from an engineering background. And then were some other folks from a business background. And the people with the artsy background have this idea, I don't know why, that they have to live in horrid conditions without making a single penny because they thought that living the artist's life was more important in order to spread their message.
I mean,
And
art people are fucking weird. Yes, it's always been that way.
think that's terrible. It's a terrible way of thinking. Like, how come you're like anchoring all your creative output just to live a life where you're not going to make any money? I mean, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, I just communicate value, gets got in the money, again, authenticity. If you're just saying things out of saying things because you want to earn money, whatever, that's your problem. But for example, in my case, if I'm having good takes that people consider they are
Oh, that's a debatable term.
good takes, I'm not saying your side, but my
I was a graphic designer before pivoting to IT. Nice. Were you a starving artist and that's why you switched to IT? Graphic designers can do pretty well for themselves.
my audience think they are interesting takes. If I treat my audience like royalty, if I protect and defend my audience, if I offer them games, articles, whatever the case may be, of things that they see value in, because they are helping them in any shape or form, whether to be entertained or to learn how to grow social media, or to eventually, because right now I'm working on a course to help aspiring devs create their games using C++ and SEL. If they see value in all of that, it's perfectly fine to have business. So I don't know where people.
I would agree with you. If you're offering a service, you can make money off it. That service is great. You know, you have
Come
a game.
on.
You mentioned
Switch,
a course.
switch.
I sold freelance courses, man. You know, my background's with
Alright, let's
doing
go.
training things, instruction design. So that's all good, man. You know, I do think grifter gets overused. I think
Yeah,
there's places
I
to
agree.
use it, but I don't think the specific use case in describing what you do as a business describes it.
Yep.
Do you have some hot, you know, call them hot takes, call them rage bait? You know, I think some people could argue, you know, you'll post things, you know, then you'll mention that I'm going to trigger the wokies with this one. And, you know what you're doing from that respect. You know, that's part of giving what you want to your audience. So you have a business, man. You're doing different things. You have a Substack.
Yeah, I think I would have pushed back on this because basically what he's saying is you're just going to give your audience what you want, right? It's not about the truth of the argument and bringing in, you know, a perspective for people. It's only about the money and giving your audience what you want them to say. You know, I'm all for monetization. I have no problem with monetization. I have no problem with, you know, a lot of things like, you know, building an audience and things like that. But if you're just not genuine at all, it eventually starts to come out, especially in your content. Like, not that I'm ever going to be famous, but some people, a lot of the people that start out anyway, or some of the people back from like the original YouTube days, it was about what they enjoyed making and having fun. The monetization is what changed that. but you can still have that appeal of doing something you enjoy doing and get monetized for it. It's just most people won't, because you have to be interesting. And not a lot of people who get on here to make channels are interesting.
So, you know, again, I think grifter gets overused. You know, that, to further your point a little bit. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I don't like
No,
this
it's
upgrade.
perfectly fine. So yeah, that's what I see. So if, and especially with the anti-wall, there was this viral post from me, the one that I created, and then K-Med reposted, and it became a huge sensation.
There we go.
It was viral all over the place. Many people were saying that my side, the anti-wall side, they were all a bunch of grifters. They were never criticizing their side. All of them, they were saying, hey, they're grifters because they're making money just by having all these hot takes. It's perfectly fine. If people are seeing value there, there's a reason why an influencer may get super chats. And it's perfectly valid. I mean, if they want to monetize their content.
But we're not, it's not about monetizing your content and that being valid. I have no problem with Smash J. I've never said to Smash JT he's a grifter because he monetizes his comments, his content. He's a grifter because he doesn't believe in what he's saying. He doesn't actually believe in what he's selling, and his whole product is believing that he's trying to save gaming. And all the people that watch him is because they have some idea that they believe they want to save gaming with. That's the difference that he's trying to get into. Like, it's not about who made what content, or like who put a $sign on the content. It's the substance of the content and the person's views on it, right?
If they are being cool to their audience, and their audience sees something of value in their takes, it's perfectly fine. And I know that the people on the left do it as well. I mean, they gotta eat. So in that sense, I don't think that saying, hey, you're making money because you're having all mistakes.
Let's go this way.
I mean, I don't agree with that. I think that it's perfectly fine to monetize what you're doing.
I would agree. People can make money doing things like, you know, they have a YouTube channel, they get super chats, go ham wild on it. That's why it's there. I think that line gets crossed. You know, when, you know, let's think of some examples. I guess I'll phrase this as a question. Do you think Grums is a grifter?
I think that Grums is far smarter than what people on the leftist liberal side think. That's what I'm going to say about that matter.
Yep.
That's just a complete deflection from the idea. You're not going to talk shit on one of the guys that helps you stay, you know, paid, stay making money. Oh man,
this was the part where I said I wanted to jump in.
Yeah. I mean, I could see why. I mean, I'm not giving Mcdizzle too much trouble. Like, doing any of these live debates is always difficult, right? But yeah, he's just kind of deflecting away from it, not talking about the actual issue, dancing around it and pretending that it's just because they make money. So
I think that you, in particular, your side, has helped him a lot in terms of growth and exposure. He knows how to capitalize that, and that's fair play. And that's absolutely fair play. In terms of the whole...
he's a grifter. He doesn't talk about what he believes in.
And a question from me to you.
Of course.
We've been focusing on mine, but anyway, just to wrap things up with the whole Grams thing. When people go and they support, for example, you go and you make a Kickstarter, and this is the way that I see it. You go, you make a Kickstarter. You may have your reasons because you want to crowdfund, whatever the case may be. Your game, project, tabletop, whatever the case may be. People know the risks of doing that. Absolutely. And you know what happens?
Oh, dear God, he's fucking defending Grums. Let's hear this out.
Sometimes people, I think, I could say it's, well, the problem that I see is life happens to creators, and that is something that people don't realize. I don't know what happened in Grub's personal life, and I'm not justifying any of
I don't
it.
give a fuck what happened
And
in
I
his
know
personal
that
life.
there are many game developers.
Being a fucking shit happening in your personal life doesn't give you the right to fuck around with people's money that you promised to do something with. Like, what does this fucking take?
Out there who decided to crowdfund their game, and they were never able to make it because life happened. And when you crowdfund a project, there are terms of service related to that, and they explicitly warn you that, hey, you know the risk that a project may not come to completion by a certain date.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the specifics about Ember's development, whatever the case may be, but
So
I don't think
Then fucking look into it. It's the guy that you're supposed to be, doing business with, that you repost, that you do shit with. You should at least know a little bit about them, right? I mean, I don't look up every single person that I talk with online, but if I start getting into it with them a little bit more, yeah, I want to look it up. This game got
Absolutely
robbed in
right,
best
Red
audio
Stain, just
design.
saying.
Yes, yeah, 100%. This game's sound design is just amazing.
Grumps is a grifter. I think that
All
what
good
he's
on
done
that.
is, excuse me.
Oh, I just said all good on that, man. The only thing I just wanted to add to that is, if
Oh,
you
I
don't know the
closed, didn't it?
specifics
Nope,
about
1
it,
minute.
I'd recommend taking a
I can
look
make it.
into it, because we're not going to be able to talk about it in just a few minutes. But there's a lot more to it than just that. Because what you're saying conceptually, of course, that makes sense. But there's a lot of broken
Oh, it's
promises,
way over
a lot
there.
of shady activity
I don't
that is
think I'm gonna
very
make
well
that then.
documented around the crowdfunding. It's the reason why
Where's
there's
the next
videos
one?
on
Oh,
crowdfunding
it's just right
scandals,
there.
and
I'm going the
that's
wrong way.
inclusive in that. So
Let's go to that one, though.
take some time, man, when you have a chance to look more into it. You may find it very interesting or informative.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, time for me to turn a question to you.
Of
This
course.
comes from Chudley Chottenstein, and
Oh,
he
hey,
says,
Chesley.
okay, he's telling us, he's saying this. Credibility, integrity, and honesty coming from the guy who got hit with a cease and desist from impersonating an actual Ubisoft developer.
What is this question?
What are you taking on that? What's your take on this?
It wasn't really a question. It was just Chudley being Chudley, and that's all right. But my take on that is, both Smash and I got cease and desists. I'm glad we both adhered to them. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't, because it's like giving a monkey keys to a car. I regret that. So, it is what it is. I got nothing else but that, but
These are
if you want me to
security
add more to it, I
breaches.
could certainly expand, but we'd be here for a while.
Why read that comment? Like, that has nothing to do with the situation they're talking about. That's just trying to get some kind of small win on Grums. Like, let's talk about who actually put the person's name out there. Or not Grums, Grizzle. They're the same person, aren't they? I'm starting to think it.
Did you say
And,
Grizzle?
there's specific reasons.
Yeah. No, I did say
didn't
Grizzle.
send any-
Whoever they're talking to, all these people just blend together in my completely mentally stunted brain. Someone might have already been here. Oh no, this is the way up. That's right. But yeah.
Any, LinkedIn links or shit like that. I didn't share some guy's personal information and put that in the open with what was likely an intent to get people to, bother them. So that was part of my deal. I didn't get a cease and desist for that, so I'm glad it's signed. I'm glad that's over with. But what a time to be alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And okay, about that, I do have some thoughts. When you say what time to be alive, it's incredible that
Definitely want those.
you're in a part of the world. I'm in another part of the world. I'm not a native speaker, as everybody knows, and a native English speaker. But the fact that we have social media to interact, two people that had no chance in the world, like by any odds, to communicate about our passion, which is gaming. I think that's fascinating. There's a lot of responsibility in that. I definitely agree. And you're talking about the cease and desist. You were talking about my takes and shifts and all of that in the narrative. But I think it's a great opportunity to talk about our takes beyond what we post, beyond our regular content. I consider that a blessing. So I don't know if you have any other questions or if you want to start wrapping things up a bit.
You know, I'm good to start wrapping things up, man. It's time to get a snack. Interesting chat. Again, as you said, it's
Like, I wouldn't have pulled up a comment like that and said it to anybody, including like Smash. It's just absolutely weird to me. And a lot of these things I'm hearing with Yorch, he's like dancing around the subject, not really wanting to talk about these situations, or saying things like it's just about money. You know, it's they're saying it's just about money when that by no means is what the argument is with people. That's just him coping that he's a grifter. So yeah, you got anything that you want to say about it, Damaged?
I'm trying to think.
It's the more I learn about, like, Yorch is one of those people, like you said, Damage, I didn't know a lot about. He blocked me pretty early on, and he just kind of like reposts what other anti-wokers say. Oh shit, this is not good. Oh shit. Oh, me. Oh, wrong way. Where'd you go that way for? Oh fuck. In here. Open the door. He's gonna fern me. Fuck me.
All I really have to say is this. Okay. I mean, Mcdizzle really shouldn't do debates like this unless he's willing to be harsher and go at him harder. And I'm not saying that he has to go like all out, but as you said yourself, he really does not want to hit points home. And I think that's because of how nice that he feels like he needs to be. And I'm not going to say, I'm not really going to get into what we've talked about privately, right? And it's not like super personal, but more or less, it basically boiled down to like, I just like being a nice guy. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes like situations like this, it's like you can't really do that. And I've seen him go off on somebody before, but it was at a person that basically said was going to attack him and his wife, so understandable, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you can go into a debate like this and not be willing to like hit him on points, which he does do in his videos. I just don't think that like the real time live stuff, I don't think he's really capable of it, at least not right now. Yeah. Because when he's doing it live, he's like concerned about like just looking like an asshole or something, even though that's not what he would be doing.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that point. Like, if you're going to get into one of these debates, you have to push back on stuff. It can't just be a situation where you talk about this thing, talk about that thing. If you hear him say something that, like, you can push against that just doesn't seem to be right, you've got to do it, it's a skill onto itself, right? So yeah,
I'll give one example. Just one example would be like when he was talking about like how like companies are going, like not talking to gamers, not caring about what gamers say, and all gamers are doing is asking like some simple question like, why is there a gay scene in this game? And they're just ignoring everybody. Like what I would personally do is I'd be like, hey, pull up one of those tweets that the company made where people were commenting about the gay scene. And then he would pull it up. And then I'd be like, all right, after you pull it up, send me the link so I know exactly what you're looking at. I'd check the comment section, and then I point to him at all the times that people were being like extremely homophobic. Like extremely. Like saying some nasty ass shit and being like, this is why they will not take you seriously. You're not serious people. You're just pissed off about gay shit. This has nothing to do with being like, concerned about something that fucking matters. You just hate gay people. You don't want to see gay stuff, and that's it. That's not worth responding to at all.
Yeah. I mean, I could agree with you on that. I don't know that I would fully go that hard to start out with. It probably would eventually end there once you start pushing back on somebody. But
I mean, I would do it. I mean, I'm just letting you know. That's why I said, like, if you two got me, like, to actually accept a debate, that shit would be a fucking massacre. I'm just telling you. Right
I would. I want to do it. Like, I want to get somebody in there. I gotta talk you down. Like, man, like, Damage is just like this weak guy. He said he's afraid.
And again, I don't really. And to be fair, I don't really understand why you think that's that bad, because you're just pointing out, like, and I'm not saying he did it. I'm just pointing out that the reason why they won't answer is because, like, let's say that the only person that left a comment at all, or maybe there was like 2 or 3, and all of them were like from big accounts. They were not super crazy rude and nasty and shit, and it was just people saying, hey, there's a gay scene in this game, there wasn't in the first game, can you comment on that? I could see Vavra maybe showing up and replying at that point. But when you have shit tons of people going in there with all this like extreme shit, of course they're going to ignore every fucking one of you, because it's not just like, well, that's not me. It's like, yeah, it might not have been you that said it, but who's the person that has these people like in your chat and you're like, yeah, I love you guys. You guys are great. We're fighting the chuds and we need to go at them. Like, that encourages that shit. You know it. They know it. They're not going to fucking pay attention to you when you're like, you are literally encouraging the shit, like shit like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, what's going on, K-Med? Yeah, well, I agree. What I said about the first statement you said isn't that I think you're wrong or anything like that. It's when you start debating these people like this, they're already really fragile. So the moment
they're just going to look like pussy-ass bitches, and that's fine with me.
Right, but I want to pull more out of them. And I want to show more of their flaws over and over and over again, because what they'll do is close up and go back, which I don't think your shit is wrong. I eventually break down to you. I go at the same level as the people that I try to go at the same level as the people I'm debating, unless you say something that just really pisses me off, which can happen. But I want to keep them on as long as I can, making them look like idiots. So you can see how just fragile.
But how do you make them like look like idiots without doing that? That's what I'm having a trouble understanding.
Well, you stay away from.
That's that hard of a thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hard thing to do either. You keep them on by staying away from.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. It's hard for me to understand how to do that, at least without going too far, like to make them leave, like kind of what you're saying. Mm-hmm. That I think is hard, if that's actually true. What I meant before when I said that, like, I didn't think that was that hard, I meant like I didn't think I was going at them. I wouldn't feel like I was going at them that hard to point out stuff like that. Where
they would take that statement is so what you said was, and this is the way I could see it, like from me doing my defense. You said, see all these people in the comments, and then you immediately say, you aren't serious people. The moment you say that, they're going to take that statement right there, you aren't serious people, and they're going to use that against you. Oh, you don't actually want to have a conversation. You don't want to talk to me. Those posts aren't about me. And then all of their little friends are going to soy clap. So me personally, I like to stay away from necessarily the you statements unless it's something that I can directly hold them to the fire for. Just because it makes it really easy for someone who is manipulative to go, oh, see, he's not taking this seriously. He's not taking me seriously. He's showing other people's comments and saying that that's me. You're just a dishonest person. You're another one of the haters for no reason.
I actually see what you're saying now, but I would have a comeback for that too, because they do the same shit.
Yes,
they do the same shit. They will say, like, so they'll get a real honest question, then they'll point at other people and be like, well, here's these people in your comments that are like saying some really nasty shit, and so, like, how can I take you seriously? Now the difference is that with me, I don't have people under my shit saying nasty stuff, and people that know who I am, like Smash and even Grums, know that anytime that somebody has come in and said some off the wall shit, I have fucking blocked them. Said I fucking blocked them, not in every case, but I block them in every case, but I don't really comment on every single one. But I make it known. Like when people were doing like death threats to Grums, when I pointed out his stupid ass shit with the veterans donations so they can get jobs, And people were like, "Oh, we gotta get Grums," you know. They were making death threats. I took one of those comments, I highlighted, I made a post, I put the screenshot there, and I said, "Any stupid motherfucker that talks like this is getting hidden and blocked," just straight up.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be able to say that about me, but I would be able to say, like, you guys say the same shit. You know damn well that I have been like, I've defended some of these people. Like, they know that too. It's one of the reasons they won't come after me hard is because every single time that happens, they look fucking retarded. Like, Jay Viper was the only person that has even attempted that in like over a year and looked like one of the biggest fucking retards in like the whole group. I'm just saying, like, and I'm not saying like I'm a special snowflake. I'm just pointing out, it's like, you guys know that I've defended people getting doxxed, defended people getting threats, called like woke, like I've said myself, like, some woke shit's fucking retarded. It's just you guys, most of the time you guys say something is woke, it's just not fucking woke. Or if it is, it's so minor that I honestly do not understand why the fuck you care. Right? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I get that. And you have a unique situation that comes into it where you've built this kind of relationship even with them on there. So yeah, I could see that working out for you. But in general, if Grums tried to pull or not Grums, what a fucking Mcdizzle, Grizzle, Grumsy boy tried to say that exact same statement, it would be used against him as a dishonest situation.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I would get that.
Yeah.
I would never tell Mcdizzle to do that. Like, I know I said like Mcdizzle needs to push harder. I would never tell him to push as hard as I would.
Right.
Because he doesn't have that history that he can point to and be like, dude, like, for example, if I was debating Smash, I could literally point to, like, pull up my computer. Like, if we were doing I was broadcasting my screen, I could point to you countless times that me and him have been chill as fuck on his streams.
Yeah.
Just countless times. Him pulling up my comments, him like laughing at my jokes. Not just him, 8-Bit Eric, even fucking nobody before he blocked me. I still don't know why he fucking blocked me. Like, at
Association
all. I've never
with
said
me.
anything. I thought that might have been what it is, but when I posted that thing where I was like, I didn't even know they were fighting. What the fuck is going on? He didn't block me then. It was like shortly after the Flappy JT game. And I'm like, if this is what made him block me, like, I really don't understand, because that took jabs at both sides.
Yes,
it
did.
legit did. Like the only thing that really took a jab at Smash was the song that plays before you start playing. But then once you start playing, it like basically looks like he's just doing his thing, flapping along, and you got fucking Alyssa Mercante showing up here calling him a stupid motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I thought it was a good jab at both. But, you know, apparently, I guess he fired up the game, heard the song, and was like, oh my fucking God, this is terrible. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know when it comes to nobody. Nobody, like, a lot of people have told me that they think he's like genuine and nice and things like that, but nobody comes off to me as a true like manipulative person. When I watched his video on why Alyssa Mercante put him in the case and how it was so wrong, and the way he was crying and on the camera and things like that, it was all like very specifically placed. I've met people like him before. So that was
I watched that video, but it's been so long that I can't really comment on it. But I think I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
because didn't he say something like, "Oh, like I have nothing to do with anything," when in reality he was like using all these different names, and they kind of had to put his real name in there. Which again, putting names in a court document is fucking required. You can't reference a person without putting their actual name in it. You know, like I like, and again, I'm the person that went off on Alyssa when she posted the court document unredacted.
Yeah,
because I'm a firm believer.
Huge mistake.
I'm a firm believer that like any type of government document with your name, like personal information on it, is not a justifiable reason to share someone's personal information just because it is technically legal. A public document. It's a public document, right? Anyone can request it from the courts or whatever you have to request it from. Because it's like at that point, You just what?
Oh, in New York, you just go to a website and you can pull it right up. I've been
Yeah, like
watching it,
most of the stuff's online,
So-
but there's certain stuff that you have to have an ID
Yeah.
for, but you can still get it.
Mhm.
It's like the stuff that has like the sensitive shit. Like if you want the court documents that has someone's like financial history,
Yes.
you have to show an ID for it.
Yeah.
But at least here. But anyway, God, where was I going?
Sorry, I
forget.
derailed you.
Because what I'm saying is the reason why I'm a firm believer of that, because if you want to use the rule that's like, oh, there's a public document with your shit on it somewhere, who can't you dox at that point so long as they're like 18 years old? By the time you're 19, 20 years old, there is a fucking government document that's a public document with your shit on it somewhere.
Mhm.
You know, any person that buys a house and it's in their name, oh, well, they have to register it with the county. And it's like, okay, so wait, because this person bought a house and there's a public document somewhere that we can just
Use their
spread their shit everywhere? No.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And like I have the same thing about business documents. Like you register a business. Now, Grum's, I posted Grum's thing and showed his mom's name on it, but that wasn't until after he said that himself. And once you say that yourself, like if I got on here and I said, like, this is my business, and somebody looked it up and all they did was say like, oh, here's the business registration and here's the name, but like blocked out the address. Cause like on like when I showed Grums's registration and I showed his mom's name, I blocked out her address. I would think that's perfectly fine because I'm telling you, this is my business. Go look at it. It's registered in my name, whoever's name. But if I'm saying that I'm an owner on it, I'm already kind of doxing myself.
Yeah.
But like, but if he never said like, this is my business and my mom's name is on there, I wouldn't have fucking shared his mom's name. Like I would have shared his, but like, that's because he's saying it's his business. But I didn't say anything about his mom until he did. And I didn't even say anything really bad. I'm just like, yeah, it's true. His mom is on the thing. And that's like it. But yeah, like the whole, again, so I thought when Alyssa shared that document unredacted, I thought that was bullshit. Like to everyone involved, like Smash, Atreus. What I think Atreus, like his like channel name was there, but his like real name for some reason wasn't. But like everyone else, like their channels and their real names, their usernames and their real names were all fucking listed. And I thought that was bullshit. Like if somebody wants that info, yeah, they can go request it, but don't post it online and just have it like spread all over fucking Twitter. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, don't be the one. Like my take on that is what I would do in that. So, and in fact, what I did do in the documents is even though the names were out there, I went through the documentation that I pulled or that I downloaded, and I redacted all of their real names, even though.
Yeah, I remember that because I asked you how you did it in case I ever wanted to like go over it live. I was like, how did you fucking do that? But yeah.
And that's the way, like Alyssa shouldn't probably have even posted that it was out there. That way, if other people pulled it up, you can decide who's doing the right thing, who's doing the wrong thing. Because, the address I blocked out too. In fact, I didn't block it out at first because I missed it. And then when I found out that the address was in there, I went back and blocked it out as well. It's just like a courtesy thing. And then Collectives is out here. People already know his name, though. He used to claim Smash is from Smash YTV, and the JT is his initials. Yeah, but I don't really care much about the name.
Address. The address is what I was,
Yeah. So, and I know you and others.
JT means Jeff Tarzia, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So, and his name was known back in the retro days as well. Like, Collective is back from those days, and or scary Jersey guy was back from those days, so they all knew his name and everything like that. So,
Grums went around and told everyone he's Mark Kern and worked at fucking Blizzard. Smash put his name out there. I don't know the initial time he did it, but I know he's done it plenty of times saying like, I worked for Sony, look me up. And he's been doing that forever. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't the names. It was just like the address that I had a problem with in Smash's case.
Yeah. I mean, you could even say about like the other guys that it's just probably good, what's it called? Good habit to just go ahead and block out names and addresses and any personally identifiable information. It's why I call Smash a serial doxer. It's what he is. He'll go find, or his little, cronies will go find someone's name, and he'll blast it to the internet and then say, well, it was public information. Well, yeah, it doesn't legally, you're right, it's not doxing, but from a moral standpoint, you are spreading that person's name to cause grief to them, right? He did it with Mcdizzle. Mcdizzle didn't have his name out there. It just happened to be on.
It was out there.
Was it out there?
So just to clarify,
no, I thought
Mcdizzle
he had put it out there. Go ahead.
Mcdizzle had a LinkedIn that was really old. Did have his YouTube channel listed, Mcdizzle Game, and then it had his real name on it. That's what Smash found. And initially, I didn't know about the LinkedIn profile. I just saw Smash's video, and then he put his name on there, and I'm like, well, this is fucking doxing. So I called Smash out for doxing, but then I looked into it, and I'm like, oh, so he Mcdizzle voluntarily created a page himself on a social media site and listed his real name and attached it to his YouTube channel. So I said, I have to take back my claim that was doxing, because to me that's not. However, I do agree that despite the fact that I wouldn't call it doxing because he didn't get it from some like private thing or from government documents that again, that doesn't really fucking count. It's not doxing, but I agree with you that like what he did was super shitty, because as he says himself, when you put someone's real name out there, it's probably because you want your community to go after him and do some shit.
Yeah,
not like
that's
violent shit. I'm not claiming Smash wants somebody to beat up Mcdizzle, but you want them to do something, like some form of going after him, like I don't know, like a job or just like something.
Yeah, giving him grief,
because
whatever.
That's what people do. Like, there's crazy people in every fucking community. Smash knows how big his community is. He knows there's crazy people there. So, I mean, what is he gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, he's said statements that he really doesn't care about people saying things or doing things and things like that. He even, I would argue, encourages it in a way when he'll say statements like, what was one of them? He said that his don't harass people statement was, for one of Alyssa's things, was something along the line of, you guys shouldn't do this, but it's funny. Like, that's a very
I was just about to say that. I was about to bring up that exact same point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't say, guys, this is horrible, but it's fucking hilarious. All right, guys. It's like you are saying that for legal reasons because you think that covers you legally, but it doesn't. Like, imagine if somebody, like, God forbid, like, hurt one of his family members, like one of Smash's family members. And I got on here and I was like, guys, that's so horrible that happened to his family. But oh my God, like the way his wife's face got bashed in was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be so fucked up to say. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like he's encouraging his people to do that by saying it's funny, and he fucking knows it.
Yeah, Collective says his blanket statement is, I can't be held responsible for what my audience does. There, I have a lot of agreement with that in general, but there is a certain point where you're encouraging your audience when you're saying, hey, this is okay. Like, if someone came into my community, say I start to get bigger, and someone comes into my community with that kind of stuff, or with like spreading out people's information, like, hey, look at this, this is where their stuff is, or this is where their address is, or anything like that, I'm going to call it out immediately, and I'm going to fucking ban that person, because that's not the kind of community I want to do. If you want to laugh and make fun of and do a couple things like that, lighthearted stuff, I'm all for it. But if it starts to dip into, anytime it starts to even dip its toe into things that could be considered harassment or things like that, it's going to stop. I think I had someone, I may have already told this thing, I tend to repeat stories. I had someone that sent me a tweet of Smash's wife's dead Twitter account, and I was like, no, I don't play that game. His wife has nothing to do with this. Delete the tweet. And the dude deleted it, thankfully, but that's just kind of where I stand. Now, I think people need to realize that some fans will do actual fucked up things no matter what side of the political spectrum you come from. True. Well, sometimes I don't even think those are fans. Like, there are definitely ones that are fans, but then there's just fucked up people who are looking for a reason. Oh, I need to.
Yeah, I agree with you. But some people are fucking crazy. Like, I have 800 followers, and I have some crazy motherfuckers that'll say some shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like I can only imagine, like, 50,000 YouTube subs, 100,000 YouTube subs. God forbid you're one of those people with like 10 million.
No,
like you really gotta watch what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. It gets to a certain point where you have to be. You are the example for your audience. Your audience will work off of you, right?
And it's even worse when you do like what a lot of these like anti-woke people say, is they like say like, oh, we're just all together, we're one big group, we're doing, you know, we're fighting the wokes together. It's like you can't, you don't even act independent. You don't even say like, this is just me the entire time. You say like, this is all of us with one common goal, and you're like leading the charge. And if you do that and then you do shit like say, this is funny, yes, that is you encouraging people to do shit. If you, it's not like other people like I don't have anyone specific, but like a big channel, and they've always said this is my views. Like you don't have to do what I do or whatever. I'm just giving my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, haha, this was kind of funny. Well, then it's not on them for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it can be. It just depends on if they just say it's funny, or if they say, haha, that's funny, I want to see it more. Then I think, you know, you're going into the whole encouragement thing.
Yeah, it's a fine line. And I think Smash's case is where that fine line is. They're gonna come to it, because that's kind of the major point behind this. Is it's not individually about what Smash did, but it's also about what was encouraged through it. You know, that I saw Atreus like repost, or Smash repost Atreus's tweet from like, it may not have been Atreus, that said that, you know, oh, well, she left willingly from Kotaku. And I was like, well, yeah, Kotaku was getting massive amounts of harassment and emails and dick pics and things that were actually illegal. So she decided that since she's getting all of this hate and harassment, she would step aside from the company. Like, she's lucky enough that the company didn't just drop her, because that's what would happen in most situations. They stuck with her for a huge portion of it, and then she left of her own accord. So
I'm also not sure if it was like one of those things where like your options are to like go through a really bad firing process, or just voluntarily leave and get, you know, not like they'll give you like a good reference or something.
The reason I said that she left of her own accord is why I say it, is that the head of Kotaku or whoever it was did actually come out and like defend her publicly from a lot of Smash and the goons. But I mean, yeah, it could have very well been that process. Like, hey, we've gotten to the point we can't deal with this anymore. You either leave on good terms, and, you know, we'll do that. There's so many things that could have happened. Like, a lot of people don't get that, right? You got you look at the list of the recent anti-woker, or you go anti-woke doxing list where they were just going after people for their jobs. Or if you look back at the day when, if you said, you know, something fucked up online, that they would go to your work and your business and all that. Most people don't get that option. They're just like, all right, you said things online we don't like, see you later. Or that's getting us hate, see you later.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the whole like Alyssa versus Smash lawsuit's gonna go. I can see it going either way, but all I'm gonna say is like I completely understand. Like, I completely understand the reason why they listed so many names. Is because they all work together. Yeah. They all push the same agendas. They all went after Alyssa. You know, even if they didn't like directly make a video or a tweet, they repost each other's shit. They like each other's shit. They boost the engagement so more people see it. It's just one big club, and Smash, unfortunately for him, is at the top, because a lot of people think it's Grums, but Smash is bigger than Grums.
Yeah.
Like Grums has a bigger following. Like he has more followers on X. But if Grums released a video on YouTube, like just silently released it on a channel somewhere, he's not going to get anywhere near as many views as Smash and them, unless it's people like Smash and the other big people like Hypnotic. Hypnotic's also bigger than fucking Grums. If they like spread his video everywhere, like it might get some views, right? But it's still not going to do like Smash numbers, Hypnotic numbers, or any of these, other big channels numbers. Like Grums is basically a nobody everywhere except for Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people don't know who he is. Well, I kind of think there's like, I don't even think Grums there's a splinter at the top, right? There's the 4, what I would call the big ones at the top. You've got Smash, Endymion, Grums, and Hypnotic. Those are, I think, are the
just
big 4.
one second before you go on. I'm just letting you know I'm stepping away, but I'm going to be listening on my phone.
Okay. So yeah, you've got the 4 big ones, but then you look at it like Grums and Endymion are much closer. They're kind of their own little sub faction where a lot have pushed away from Grums in some form or fashion. They won't talk him down, but a lot of them won't look at his tweets anymore. Then you've got Smash and Hypnotic, who are kind of their own little faction. And a lot of the guys that we talk about, like 8-Bit Eric and Words of Paradise and other people underneath Smash, Toasty, are kind of under that faction. That's the ones that Hypnotic will go into. But the big 4 the big 3 will talk to Grums a little bit. No one as closely as Endymion. And then the rest is kind of under the Smash JT faction. So I'd definitely say he's more of the ringleader, especially with Hypnotic's kind of going away from the he's trying to pull away from the grift thing. I can see him doing it. He also has the audience to do it. He has a very parasocial audience that don't just watch him for anti-woke stuff. They also come to his gaming streams and things like that and pay out big bucks. He probably makes the most out of all of them, I would guess. So nobody knows who Grummy is unless you know who Grummy is. That's true. Well, a lot of people would probably remember Grums. A lot of gamers would probably remember Grums if you mentioned the Firefall bus, because everyone knew about the Firefall bus. And they'd be like, that guy is like big for some reason. Oh, man. This person is the reason why video games are bad now. This person is the reason why Ghost of Yote is going to be bad. This is on the political scale you hate. Yeah, I mean, the whole Ghost of Yote really showed that. Uh-oh, where are you? Oh, no, fuck off. Hit the ground, motherfucker. Oh, I got him. Fuck, I'm out of here. Back this way. All right. While we wait for him to come back and give his rebuttal. Can I shoot him? Can I sneak away? All right, they're off doing their thing. Cool. And when it comes to Alyssa, what I see her trying to build, and even the judge kind of mentioned it in the latest paperwork, is that she's really trying to build her case on conspiracy, which the judge isn't agreeing that there's enough really for that on there. She needs to show significantly more that there's a conspiracy, and I think that's what she's trying to get Jeff's messages and things like that, which we're probably not going to see any of that stuff, would be my guess.
The only stuff that's ever released publicly in those cases are stuff that's used in the courtroom.
Yeah,
it's not every single thing that they found.
Yeah, and I get that, which makes sense, but that's kind of where she's going with it right now. The whole thing is dead in the water until they figure out what area the court will be done in. I forget what it's called. Jurisdiction. Words are hard. So that's kind of like the case. Like I hear a lot of people say that Smash doesn't have. I was actually talking about it with Collective. Yeah, conspiracy is a stupid approach. I think she could focus more on the online hate and other things like that. But I don't know. I'm not much of a lawyer. They did say
the
that
law's so complicated, it's hard to know.
Oh yeah, I know. No one can be. It's too grandiose. All you need to claim is that this guy pissed me off and he made 90 videos on me. She said extremely untrue things. He said extremely untrue things. Yeah, I could see that. And I think that's kind of where she needs to focus. The judge did say, though, one thing that Smash failed to mention is the judge did say for jurisdiction that what she had brought up was a good start to it. She just needs to add more for it to be considered New York's jurisdiction. Like I said, I've heard, like, even I was talking to Scary Jersey Guy the other night when y'all all came on, and a lot of people are saying like he's lost Slap, and I don't think he has. Like he got denied Slap until the other information comes out, until they decide jurisdiction, but it still could be slapped, I suppose, or at least that's up on the table. They'll reapply. I don't know if
it's not a zero chance.
Yeah, it's not a zero chance. I think it's a low chance, but it's not a zero chance. So I think in an indirect way, he might have to have made a good argument for jurisdiction by posting a monetized video of the judge. That's fair. Posting the video with the judge's face on it that's a very brazen move on Smash's part. Have you seen that video thumbnail?
I have not seen it. I have not seen it.
It was basically, he changed it. I know he changed it. I wish I had gotten a clip of it. But originally it was like the judge looking angry with Alyssa on one side and the judge looking at her on the other. And it was like judge calls out Alyssa for bad case or something. It was kind of an unhinged thing to say when you're in the middle of a lawsuit, to pull your judge into the public spotlight. But it's changed. Now it's just a normal looking face, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I just found that it's her, like, just like sitting in her chair smiling now.
Yeah. So it was kind of an unhinged thing to do when you're about to go into court and you want this woman to like you.
Yeah, he doesn't want to end up like Carl, where the judge just ripped him apart.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Carl had a bad case altogether, though, which Smash might too. But Carl on the other side, he made a lot of mistakes, and then he lied to a lot of people about it, which could end up the same
like
as
no
Smash.
one knew.
Yeah.
Well, not no one, but very few people. Like not even Mudahar knew, and Mudahar was contacted about the case directly, and even he thought it was about cheating.
Yeah. Which is crazy because it really shows how, because I was on Carl's side for the whole thing. The whole fuck Billy Mitchell thing. But if you go back in like hindsight and listen to some of Billy Mitchell's statements on it, some of the stuff he posted, he very much said it is not about cheating. It is about him saying that I was the cause of this guy's suicide. So it just goes to show how locked in you can be on somebody to not pay attention to all the information.
Yeah, I still don't like Billy Mitchell, but I bought the Billy versus Carl hot sauce that he released. Yeah, nice. I got one of them.
Nice. Is it any good?
I didn't open it.
Fair enough. It's more of
because it's one of the signed ones.
Oh, nice. Should have got me one of those. I need. The hot sauce is pretty good. I've heard Billy Mitchell is a character unto himself. Let's get rid of that bullshit. Boop, boop, boop.
I probably will open it at some point, though, because it's never going to be worth anything.
No. I don't have this key. We're at 20 minutes. I've actually been a pretty quiet run. I love this game. This game is just... Oh, shit. That's going to go all the way across, isn't it? Yeah.
I wonder if K-Med's still in here.
I don't know. K-Med, you still in there? It's possible. I think I could take it. Oh, you might not be watching here. Let me change it up so you're not just looking at my Twitter. My Twitter. Boom, boom, boom. You can see. Change to this. Why did DaVinci open? All right. Think I can. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where you at, bud? Oh, did he walk that far away? Last commenter standing. I'm just listening and BSing while I play Let's School, which you highly recommend. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that one. I can take it. I've got those ones in the list. I added all of them to my wish list. And I want to start playing more some of these indies that like Komoji's. Komoji's really big on the indies games. There's just too many good ones out there. My wish list keeps growing.
Yeah, I see them post a bunch of stuff about indie games.
Yeah. I've played a lot. Like I was really getting into a lot of indie games, but a lot of mine was in the roguelike section. And Caves of Cud, by far one of my favorite games. And then Dwarf Fortress I wouldn't call an indie, but it's definitely a smaller company. I've enjoyed them bringing that out of ASCII. Oh.
You got kids, right?
Yeah, I got 3.
So when you had your first kid, what was your gaming life basically like walked outside and executed?
Pretty much. Oh, yeah, pretty much locked outside and executed. I played occasionally, but it was very rarely.
Yeah, I wish I could play more games. I mean, I still play games, but I have like such little time to do it with work, taking care of the kids and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, I find time. In fact, like me starting streaming was kind of an excuse to do it in a way. And my wife is the one who suggested it because I had a lot of hobbies. Like I played D&D, which I just started up again. And when we used to play D&D, it was, a bunch of military guys living in the same house. Since we were National Guard, we only had to do once a month. And we would every day stay up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, play D&D or video games or Warhammer 40K. And then, get up to go to work at 5 and then crash out when we got home for a little while and do it all again. It comes with time. I don't know, how old are your little ones, if you're willing to say?
I got one kid, and I won't say the exact age, but they're under 6.
Okay, yeah. I've got one who's under 6, just like that, and they're the most handful. I'm lucky with my son who's that way because he's a pretty avid gamer. The problem is he wants to play games that I don't want to play. But like the only time I finally got dragged.
Did you say the one under 6 is a gamer?
Yeah, he's 5. He games.
Like what do they play on?
They play Fortnite. He plays Minecraft. He loves Goat Simulator, and he plays Fortnite. But he doesn't play Battle Royale. He plays a lot of the mini games that are within it with his cousins.
Yeah, my kid plays games like not to the point of Fortnite though.
No, well,
He can mess around in Mario. When I started him off on NES and Super Nintendo emulators. I have an NVIDIA Shield, and I put some emulation on there. And the reason why I started him off with NES and SNES, well, I started him off on NES, is because it's small. It's a smaller controller and it has way fewer buttons. So I wanted them to, like, ease in, play some like basic Mario or something like that. Then they upgraded to like Mario Kart on Super Nintendo. But now, like, occasionally I like fire up a certain emulator I shall not name, and let him play certain games that I shall not name, but I do have legal copies of, because I cover my ass like that. But I'm still not going to say what they are.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. It was, what did we start with him? I mean, it really was simple, like phone games with him that we would play. Nothing like major, and nothing like, pay to win or pay games and things like that. I was always really cautious about that stuff. But then when he got a little bit older, I would say around 4, he started wanting to play Minecraft, and he'd play Minecraft on the phone and I'd play on my computer, so we could play together and do stuff like that. And then he upgraded to Goat Simulator, and we would play Goat Simulator. We bought him his own controller for the computer, his own Xbox controller. And then from there, he just recently upgraded to Fortnite. And even then, he's not going to go into a battle royale and do anything. He just likes to wander around and do small things. Like he likes to play the Lego version, Lego Odyssey or whatever it is that's on there, and creative.
No, so he's not going full MLG, building like entire houses in 3 seconds.
No. He's not doing that yet. He's very much still, he's a 5-year-old. I don't want to gas him up like he's an amazing kid. I mean, he's smarter than me, that's for sure. But he's pretty good. He's pretty good at getting the controls down. He gets better and better.
Minecraft is a good idea, though. I didn't even think about that. I'll probably have to. I mean, I own it, so
yeah.
I'm not really. I don't like him playing on my computer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't mind it. It's just I don't want him to do it when I'm not next to him.
Yeah.
Because kids like will just get into settings and do some shit, and I'm sure it doesn't take much of a settings change to really fuck shit up, and then you got to wonder what the fuck was changed, and I don't want to deal with that. So
yep.
I'm going to have to find another way for him to play Minecraft. But whenever I build a new PC, he can have this one. I don't care. He can do whatever the fuck he wants on.
That's what I was going to do with my old PC that had like a 1560 in it. 1580, I think. But one of my girls ended up dropping it. Oh, no. Run.
Hey, can I give you one hint, though?
Yeah.
If you ever give them a PC, get a really go to like a Home Depot or some other hardware store, get those really large trash bags, put that over the top of the case. So if they ever spill anything on it, it will not go into the system. I've had that happen twice, and one time it was my fault.
So far what I've done, because my girls will play on the computer, and they have a variety of games that they play. One I was playing Split Fiction with. I still need to finish it with her. That was a lot of fun, because that was a game we could just play together. And then they like Jurassic Park and some other stuff. So, but my rule is, like, if you're by the computer, there's no drinks. My office, or my little computer room, is out in the garage. I'm already, in a unsustainable weather environment for a lot of the stuff. So that's why I got a laptop, so I can bring it inside. But yeah, I just stick to the rules. That one's just sitting still. That's weird.
Wait, you're streaming on a laptop right now?
Hell yeah.
What GPU does it have?
4080.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you got a really good one.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, most laptops can't stream to YouTube and stream to Discord, because it has to do 2 separate video encodes. So that's why I was curious, because I'm like, damn, like unless he spent money on that laptop, I really don't understand how he's doing that.
Well, like I when I buy computers, I hold on to them forever. Like I didn't buy any of the 30 series. I didn't buy any of the 20 series. I stayed on. It was a, you know, the, or was it the 20? Yeah, I didn't stay on the 20 series. It was the 15, whatever. I forget now off the top of my head. And I stuck with that sucker forever from when I bought it. It wasn't until I couldn't play a game I wanted to play, which was Baldur's Gate 3, that I decided, all right, it's time to upgrade my system.
What resolution do you game at?
Just normal. I think whatever it'll let me game at. I mean, what am I getting right here in this one?
Wait, was the previous computer that you were talking about, was that a desktop or a laptop?
Laptop as well. Another reason
Okay, so
that
I'm guessing you're what, like 1440p?
Yeah. The other one was 1080. This is running. Yeah, when I play games, it's generally at the 1440. You said? I can never.
Yeah, 1440p. I upgrade my GPU every other generation. So I had a 1080. That was good for 4K at the time, and then it quickly wasn't.
Yeah.
I have a 3080 now, which I've had for I don't even know how long. It has been 2 generations. The 50 series is out, but it's so fucking expensive that I can't justify it. And the reason is because I have to have a high-end GPU, so I have to get a 5080 or a 5090 because I game in 4K. And not only do I game in 4K, but like you, I want it to last. Like I could get like a 5070 and game in 4K, but then it's going to be like the 1080. And I'm gonna have to have a new GPU in like a year and a half because shit is just getting crazy as far as like Unreal Engine and all that.
Yeah. Let's get
Games
out of
are
here.
so hard to run at 4K. It's insane. I always tell people going to 4K was a mistake. Like it looks amazing. I have a 48-inch 4K OLED with a 120 hertz refresh rate. It looks incredible, but let me tell you something. If it's expensive.
Yeah.
Very, very fucking expensive.
Yeah, I can tell you. Besides the actual monitor that comes on my laptop, the other monitors that I use are incredibly cheap. Like I'm not getting the best look, even though I'm getting the graphics for it, just because the monitor is like a $100 monitor, if even that.
Yeah, I have the same cheap bullshit next to my OLED, so it's like literally like a 20. I have a 27-inch 4K, but it's old. It was my original 4K monitor. But then I have like a super cheap like Amazon 1080p 60 hertz super basic LCD like TV that I bought God knows how long ago, and even back then it was like $150. It's super cheap. It's a fucking display. Like I don't do anything on it except display like text, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I actually don't use the laptop just because of the way my setup is as the main monitor most of the time. It's usually this little cheap one just because it's a bigger monitor than what I have. I plan to upgrade that one, but the other one that I use, I keep vertical, horizontal, to where you could like read it like it's a piece of paper. And that's where I keep all of my OBS stuff, the chat,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It gives me like 2 places to look at it. But
now that you say that, I wonder if I can flip this other.
You probably can. You probably could.
That's a really good idea because my super cheap one, it doesn't flip for shit. It's super basic. But this old 4K, I wonder if you can flip it. I'm guessing not, but there's a chance because that's a really good idea. Because OBS, like I'd like to have OBS more at the top because I don't need like the full width of like a 16:9 like standard widescreen. I would like OBS to be like higher and then like have like chat under it because the way my OBS is set up now, like I don't stream, but I use OBS to like just capture shit on my computer. I have like extra stuff and like and
pop outs.
they're not windows. They're not pop outs. whatever you call the shit where like you can like adjust
Oh.
the size of it like within.
Docs.
I just can't
think
remember what
is
it's called, but we'll just call them frames. I have
Yeah.
frames of other shit of information in my like where like an OBS where you like edit like the video is actually going to look like is like just not big enough. So yeah, I'm definitely going to see if I can flip this, because if not, then if I ever do in the future get into streaming, this
There you go.
motherfucker is getting replaced, and I'm going to buy a flippable monitor.
It was a game changer. It was a cheap monitor I got free from my father-in-law who does IT stuff, and he's like, all these monitors are getting tossed out. Do you want one? And I was like, yeah, I'll take a free monitor. It's not the greatest monitor, but you flip it over and you use it for something as simple as OBS. It's perfect. I have I have it the opposite. My OBS is on the bottom, just so I can glance at it better and make sure that my shots are good, even though I'm terrible at that. We all know. And then up higher on the top, closer to my eye line, is where the chat is. And then to the right of that, I'll have my Streamlab events when stuff pops up. And then I just have the little controller off to the side to stop stream. It was a game changer for it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, because you can't fit shit on a 16:9 like when it's wide.
No,
because it just fills up like in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I actually learned that from an old job I worked at. I worked for a bank, and a lot of other people did that, because you would have just the information off to the side that you needed, and then your main working station. And I was like, man, that's such a good idea. But I think I'm going to call that the last run. Dude, it's great talking with you. I like bringing you on and talking with you. Same thing with Scary. We'll have to bring him on another time too. Or K-Med even.
I didn't even know about that guy before. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I've talked with him back and forth for a while. He's sent me stuff and told me stuff about Smash. I think that's where we first bonded. But then we've talked about games and other things like that. He has a retro channel.
He has a retro channel?
Yeah, he has a retro channel. It's like 2K. Little retro channel. He just plays games and I guess talks about other retro things. So I thought that was pretty cool. Old man like
I love retro stuff.
Heck yeah. I mean, it wasn't retro when we started playing it.
Hell no, it wasn't.
But anyways, again, thanks for coming on. Everybody in chat, if you haven't liked the stream, go ahead and like the stream for me on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to me, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for whatever else we can find on the internet. All right, later.
Yep, everyone have a good one, man.